Hey guys, how you doing? I bet you didn't think you'd see me here this soon. Okay, plans have changed. I got an email early hours of the morning from Apex that they've done another 80% off evaluations. So I was waiting for that to happen. So what I decided to do was to get three evaluations. Now, I'm not trading my PA account. I'm leaving that. How you doing, guys? The reason I'm leaving that PA account is, at the moment, with the $2,000 that I withdrew, or that is pending, plus that makes a total of $3,200. Now, if the account drops below $2,600, I don't know for sure whether they would stop that $2,000. Now, it's sort of gone through. It's showing us just waiting to be paid anyway, so I think that's going to happen today. If not today, maybe, I don't know, maybe Monday or Tuesday. I don't know. So I'm just going to trade these three Apex accounts. So that was the plan. The plan was to come back Tuesday, but obviously Apex did this 80% off evaluation, so I decided to do this instead. So who have we got this morning? Morning, Jim. How you doing? Good morning, Dr. Linney. Morning, Keith. How you doing, buddy? Lead and loser, morning. Brant, don't worry about missing yesterday. PA was trash. Okay. So, as I mentioned before, I can have a pretty awful day, awful whatever, and I can bounce back pretty good. So I feel good today, up for the challenge. Now, as some of you may know, that my live account or PA account is down to $51,200. So it is effectively $1,200 off hitting $1,100 off hitting the auto liquidate. So I'm not touching that account today. I want to make sure that 2,000 is in my account properly before I think about doing that, and I will then take that account down to one contract. Now, as you know, I trade two contracts. One, I've got a normal $2,500 drawdown. That's basically half of that. So next week, once this 2,000 is cleared properly into my deal account, because I do not want to risk that, and then I'll take that down to one account. So I'm trading three accounts today. So guys, we got in today. Toad, how you doing? Welcome back. Morning. Thank you. DZT, morning. Did you read my comments? I read a bunch of them. Can't remember specifically. Remind me if you want, or I'll have a look. Like, which comment? Which one? You have to get back to me. That Randolph, morning. Good trading to everyone. Friday the 13th. Yeah, that's why I thought I'd jump back in. I do like a challenge, and if there's a day to come back, it's Friday the 13th. So one quick question for all you trade copier guys out there. Let me just open my trade copier quickly, and I wanted to just to double check this. Now, let's do this first. Now, quickly, if you see here, the main account ends in 74. Okay, so that account ends in 74. So if I get the trade copier out, I'm trading yes, that's correct, exact quantity. So I'm trading the Apex evaluation 74. And copying 75 and 76. So I haven't highlighted the PA account, so I'm leaving that out. So just let me know that that's correct. So 74 is the lead Apex account, which is in there. And 75 and 76, the other two Apex evaluations, are highlighted. So I'm not trading my PA account. So just give me a quick, that's fine or okay, if everything's set okay. And I'll just check down here. I definitely haven't got two open. That's that one. Let me just, if I put it in the taskbar, you can clearly see that's this. There's my three charts that I use, and that's just the Apex copy. So this morning, copy looks good. What did you write it on, bud? Because I've been out doing some work this morning. I had to go for an assessment this morning for some work. So on the last video, I haven't read anything this morning up until sort of late last night. So let me just check my mic's okay. Yeah, so where are we now? Market is open anyway. Okay, so we've had this trend down here. Now that to me, touches here. We've had a break. Now whether this is going lower, I'm not 100% sure yet. You should be able to drop a trade far from price action and then toggle through down box and see that placed correctly on each. Okay. I've got them here anyway, and as soon as I take a trade, I'll hit the chart. Let me just read that again. You should be able to drop the trade far from. Oh, okay. So let's say sell limit order. Now, what do I do? Does that mean it's working okay? Is that what you mean? Toggle through the accounts. Oh, I see what you mean. You mean on the trade copier? Is that what you mean, Brant? I'm not sure. On the chart. Okay, that's on the chart. Is that what you mean? I think it's okay. Anyways, I'm pretty sure it's okay. Okay. I think that's what you mean, isn't it? Oh, you mean on positions? Oh, no. Then go to the new account on the drop-down box on the right. New account. Here. New. That's not right, is it? I don't think. On the chart trader bar. Chart trader. Here. You mean see if they're showing? Is that what you mean? Chart trader. I think that's what you mean, isn't it? But they're showing. No, because the PA is showing as well, isn't it? Not sure what you mean. What am I missing? Right side where you selected the account. Yeah, okay, so I've clicked that, yeah. Now the only trouble is it's showing the PA account, isn't it? But I haven't selected that. It's just showing those three. 75 and 76. What does it say? 74, the one I'm trading, the lead account, 75 and 76. Okay, I'm looking at them. What do I do? Select the other accounts. If I select 75, yeah. Okay. 75, 70, that one. Let's check the PA account. Okay, gotcha. I'm with you. Okay, yeah, right. That's clear. Okay, so yeah. Okay, just those three. Clearly that one isn't. I got you. Brilliant. Cheers, guys. I didn't know that. Well, now I do. Okay, so. Okay, now let's see if I can get back to some good quality trades. Thanks, Brant. Thanks, Keith. Appreciate that. That makes perfect sense. That it's clearly not not showing. So, push out. Looking a bit sideways here, isn't it? So I'm just going to try and get back to being incredibly careful. Now, I was browsing, so you copied it correctly. Yeah, excellent. I was browsing through Max charts, Max videos a little bit last night. And he doesn't cover sometimes. What I see is when he's setting up his charts, see how these three have hit like that. Now, normally I would be going for something, sort of going for something like this. Do you know what I mean? Trying to make that fit, doing something like that, which sort of works. But he seems to go off that first swing. And if I go off that first swing, where it fits really perfectly there, and it fits perfectly there. So does that look all right to you? It's all right. I'm just trying to refresh some of the things I've forgotten over the last sort of year and a half, and I picked up bad habits. Now that it fits perfectly there. It fits perfectly there. Obviously, we've had a break, so whether we get a new low or not, I don't know. But so, what do you think? Does that channel look all right to you? Just so I'm not getting into picking any bad habits up. I only like to extend it if the price action shows continuation. Yeah, my stuff just went. Super choppy. Wonder if this will do to the news. Yeah, because we have got some news, haven't we, shortly. But that channel looks okay to me, doesn't it? Couple of pushes down. It's touch there, nice, touch there, nice. Fits. Because I see Mac doing that. I was watching him doing some trend channels. Should typically start from the extreme, the first swing. Extreme. Trouble is, so in other words, we would have to draw this somewhere, wouldn't we? And that fits on the bottom there, doesn't it? So it looks like we've had an overshoot. Yeah. Overshoot. That could mean a new high, actually, which then sometimes means a reversal. So that would make sense, wouldn't it? So we've come up here. So you could pick that as a short-term trend channel break, but it does look like a channel with an overshoot, doesn't it? An overshoot back to this line, make a new high, and then a reversed. Sorry, reverse, because I know an overshoot sometimes can lead to a reversal. So we've obviously had a break of this, and you would generally think down, but it certainly looks like it's coming down with all that large stuff. It's probably going to come down, isn't it? But all this, like, you just can't get involved in, really, can you? The first swing, the start of the extreme, yeah. Okay, I think that looks okay. Especially as it fits really nice on this back section or the lower section. This looks like it's going to be our possible... Trouble is, you get a bit of sideways, what do? You fade the breakout, but it's sort of coming down, isn't it? And I'm expecting it to... I've got to expect a new bottom to see if it plays out. Obviously, if it comes down here, pushes up and goes higher, then it's likely not going to happen. So, but yeah, I've been thinking a lot over the last couple of days, and I think what I did that first day I had that loss, I took a stupid. It was something like that, and I just shorted it. And I got to keep it in mind that the day hadn't really established itself as a range day, really. So instead of trying to pick tops, maybe I should wait for lower highs or failures. So I just picked up a few bad habits, probably got a bit too confident because, you know, my days were looking nice and green and everything in life and trading was looking fantastic. And I think I got a bit too confident and took a couple of, less careful trades, for want of a better word. So I just need to get back that higher standards, shall we say. So anyway, I don't know if most of you know now that we've got this 80% off for quite a while, actually. So I have a code. If anybody wants to use it, I'd appreciate it. If not, and you've used other people, that's fine. That's fine as well. But it is there if you need it, if you're not using anyone. But just the fact that it's there, whether you use that or not. But they seem to have more and more the 80% off. The only trouble is, in fact, I did. Keith, you're Sam's mate. So if you're taking any evaluations, don't even think about using my codes. Use Sam's. I used Sam's on these three this morning. So he's your mate. So if you take any, don't use mine, mate. Well, you use his. You got to look after your mates. So the trading has been rough this week. Yeah, it has. Now, I've been looking back on my trades and some of the comments, and I think I'm okay. I think I'm pretty good at reading the overall market and working out where my trades are likely to go. And I seem to have some okay success. Where I seem to fail, and I need to be more careful, is when we have these choppy days, because I just can't treat these choppy days like normal plain sailing type days. I need to be extra aware that they're going to be a lot more difficult. They're not always going to make sense. So on those days, they all seem to be around when we have things like the news, don't we? When we have sort of things like the CPI data and the Fed talks and the non-farm payrolls and all those. So I just need to be aware that on those days, I've just got to rein it in a little bit and be extra careful and forget trying to pick tops and, you know, take very careful, obvious trades, second entries, failures, but ones that are complete obvious and, you know, those ones that jump out at you. So I think that's where I lack a little bit, is knowing when to stay out. I think my overall read is okay. It's certainly good enough to make me some money. But obviously I just need to be a little bit careful on those choppy days. Because to be fair, the choppy day, I mean, I remember I watched Mac's video from the last day I did, and he said days like this are hard to trade, so you've got to be careful. So that kind of cements it for me, him saying that. And he said it about the day before as well. He didn't find many trades that day, I think the first day. About 5 or 6 trades, I think he marked. So thanks, I used your code the last time. Thank you, Toad, I appreciate it. The only reason I put it on there, because I know it doesn't cost you guys any more money. I'm not interested in making money out of people from YouTube. This is just purely a platform to make life easy for me to trade and obviously so I can have a chit chat with other people with my own sort of interests. So I just put it there. But you know, if you want to use your mates or something, you know, you do what you want to do. I'm not holding anybody to get that. It's just there if you want it. What you earned this month paid for these 3 evaluations anyway, so I appreciate you guys if you do take them. But Keith, don't even think about taking mine. Get over to your mates. Get over to Sam's. But I got these 3 on Sam's this morning anyway. But yeah, what I made this, it's not in this month. It was, I think it was about $106 or something. So it mounts up. But it paid for my evaluations this morning, so I appreciate that. Right, who else we got in? Colin. How you doing, Colin? Let's see. Oh, they want you to see if you can see the limit order. We've done that. Yeah, we've gone through that. Yeah, brilliant. Jim. Yeah, my stuff just went super choppy. Yeah. The trouble is with me, sometimes you get, I mean, I had 18 green days in a row, and the downside to that is it can make you a bit too confident. And you start to feel sort of a little bit invincible, you know what I mean? Now this starts to feel like it's coming down, but let's leave that. I'm aware of this news in the next 15 minutes. Hey Kim, how you doing? Roger, how you doing? Morning, Roger. Morning, Kim. What else we got in? Sam. Oh, you just delete the message. Don't tell me it was saying, what the hell are you doing here? Yeah, I'm only trading because of the 80% off, and that's what I was waiting for to get a few accounts. So I'm not trading the PA account. I'm going to leave that one till next week because the last thing I want to do is drop that. And then Apex turn around and say, you haven't now got $2,500. So that's that anyway. So, morning, Sam. Apple Sam. I'll have to call you Apple Sam, otherwise I'm going to get Sam and Apple Sam. I told you not to trade Friday the 3rd. To be honest with you, mate, I don't believe in all that stuff, but let's see what happens till the end of the day, and I might start believing it. Let's do that. I took these 3 accounts on you with your card, bud. With your card, your code, sorry. So you should have, what is it? You get 15%, I think, didn't it? What is it, $3, $4.50? You should have about $13 or $14 there, mate. In your pot. Okay, push up, sideways, push up. You're ready ready 1-to-1. What do you mean there, bud? 1 up, 1 down, or no worries, mate. Or you on about risk to reward? Are you on about you're already 1-1, or you 1-to-1 trading? When you've made enough for a couple of withdrawals in one account, start a new evaluation. Trade micros or smaller size on the main account to make the trading days count. It will reduce the stress. I think they're a bit funny with that, Ron. Getting your account up and then going on to micros. Because I know they have this what's it policy, don't they, where They don't want you to make money and then go on to micros. You've got to be consistent. So I'm not sure how that works. Oh, you won one last one. I got you. And they were 1-to-1, yeah. So you're not up or down really much, are you? You may be down a touch or up a touch. Yeah, I think if you stick to the same, say, 2 contracts or whatever, I don't think if you go down from 2 contracts to 1 contract, if your account drops a bit, that makes sense. Now, obviously, my account's gone down, so I'll be probably a bit silly doing that because 3 losses would take that PA account. So if I drop down from 2 contracts to 1, I don't think that's a major issue. If I get up to 5 or 6 grand on 2 contracts and then drop down to 2 micros, they might go, what you playing at here? Which I don't see why. I mean, if I manage to look at that nearest tick, if I manage to, take a 25-point runner on 10 contracts here and then went down to a micro, then I'd understand. I'd understand they'd have, they've got a bit of a problem, but sometimes it makes sense. I know Mac said sometimes if it's choppy, come down a contract. Well, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Oh, for PA, yeah, PA count's got you. Yeah, evaluations, they don't care. You could do $3,000 in one trade and then do 1 micro a day. I've done that before as well. Okay, so we had a push up, so I was going to... See, whenever you see these types of patterns, then sometimes you you get that, don't you, in the end? Push down, sideways, push down. We will or not, I don't know. Like I said, look a quick look at this daily. So yeah, we had that push down, then we had a sideways, then we had a good few days, didn't we? Pushing up, down, a bit choppy, but just wondering now whether we'll. It's hard to say, isn't it? We seem to be sort of on the level where we may come down, and we've certainly had an initial push. And if I look at the 10,000 tick chart, we've had this strong push down and we've had 2 legs up. And this looks like bearish, so we could, based on that 1 leg, sideways, 1 leg, we could sort of come down, which maybe might concur with that theory of me doing something, of the market going something like this. Maybe, maybe not. It's just, I like to try and interpret where I think it's going to go based on what I can see, but if I'm looking at the 10,000 tick chart, it looks like it could do something like that, but let's trade what we see, not what we think. Okay, it's probably not wise to do anything just yet anyway, because we've got this news coming up, and the last thing I want to do is take a trade, and there's nothing worse than taking a trade and then it going sideways for the next 10 minutes and we're getting closer and closer to the news. Probably just a pull back on a higher time frame before we rush back down. Yeah, you do get used to seeing these patterns though, don't you? Down, up a little bit sideways, break, and then down again, and then it's trying to sort of catch a move, isn't it? Where's Wood today? Is he around or not? I only decided to trade about literally 20 minutes before the stream. How did you guys know I was trading? Did you get notified through YouTube? Hey Scruffy, how you doing? Didn't see you up there. Jew. That sounds a bit ominous. Jew. That's the trouble, is it sounds like I'm saying Jude, doesn't it? J-double-O. Yeah, I had to give this trade copier a go at some time. That's what I thought I'd have a go. Well, they're 80% off and 3. My affiliate payment for the mum's paid for those anyway, so that's useful for me. So if anybody's used my code in the past, I appreciate it. It helps a little. Yes, saw a notification. Oh, you did okay. Lance. Hey, Jack, how you doing, buddy? You're always on. Are you there, are you? Yeah. I know you're always there, buddy. You're always there. I got to say, from some of you guys, I do get some lovely messages from Messenger. Nice messages. I had one from Jacko the other day. It really helps, mate. When you sat there feeling a bit down and you read something, it picks you up a little bit. Same with Sam as well. I get and Wood as well. You get some nice comments. Don't feel guilty the rest of you. I get plenty of good positive stuff from you on here, but I've had a few Messenger messages after the last couple of days where my life's been wrecked. But having said that, I think the problem is I had those 18 green days and I got a bit confident, thought, yeah, that's it. That's me now. I've done it. And got a bit careless, a little bit overconfident, and it's come back to bite me on the ass. Big style. And from now on, 2 lost trades, and I'm out of the game for the day. Now, I read somewhere, whether it was from Mackinac, I don't remember, but it said never lose more in one day than you can't make back in another. So, just looking back on my days, they range from about $200 or $300 up to $1,300. So I think an average day, I think at one point I was averaging around the $550 a day, but above average day is about the $750 to $800. Good day is $1,000 or over. So 2 losing trades will render me down around about the $750 to $800 mark. Now that is something I can get back on an above average day. So my max limit now, I've got to keep these rules. In fact, rules are probably more important now than ever. Now I'm starting to be able to build accounts. That's when the rules are important. So from now on, 2 losing trades and I'm done. I have to walk away. And I'm going to start journaling my trades as well. Jeffy, the worst pain I've experienced in life is 20x. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that. Where were I? Worst pain I've ever experienced is 20 times funded accounts, 7,000 profit in each. Worst pain is 20 funded accounts with 7,000 in each. And that was pain. Or was that pain as in, oh my God, what if I lose them type of pain? So you got 7,000 in each. So that's $140,000. Is that what you mean? Sorry about that. 130. Oh my God. So I'm assuming you've withdrawn some of that, haven't you? Well, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be on your own private island somewhere? So you've withdrawn some of that. So what did you have? Were they $50,000 accounts? So if you're withdrawing $2,000, that's $40,000, isn't there? Wow. Well, you say that, never trade that big. $7,000 in a $50,000 account to build that up. It's not a massive amount. 7,000 profit loss in each. What does that mean, profit loss? Oh, you lost 7. Oh, I see what you mean. Sorry, mate. I thought you meant $7,000 profit in each. Oh, my good God. Ouch. Ouch. Oh, that's terrible. Ouch, yeah. The trouble is, once you start getting into the realms of lots of these, you imagine having 10 of these. Imagine me having 10 of these now. And I build the account up on each one to say $5,000. I draw $2,000 from each. That's $20,000 in one payment. It's a large amount, isn't it? That's serious money. And all you've got to do really is just build up one account and the others just follow. So once you get into the realms of getting plenty of these, I didn't want to work up too quick. I thought 3 at a time. Once I get these to PA and then I get a payment, then I'll take some more. So I'll build them up slowly. So I'll make sure I'm earning some money and bringing some money in to reinvest. So, let's get rid of that. Okay, push up, break. Bigger push ups. So remind me, it's been such a while since I've watched Mac's videos. Once we have a break and we continue higher, then I just extend the trend then, don't I? That fits there, that fits there. Where do you... Yeah. So, that's what I'm saying. Where do you extend it, though? To the next swing? Just to... Once we break ahead to the next swing, so we've had a break and a new high, yeah? So I extend it to the next swing, is that right? And if we go higher again, I keep extending it, is that correct? Because these are things I've fallen out of the... They've fallen out of my memory. Dubai money, oh, that's my dream to go to Dubai, I've got to say. Tax-free. Okay, so we pushed up, we had a break and a new high, came back down, pushed higher, so then we extend the trend channel then to here. Yeah? Okay, so we had a break and another new high. Okay, so if I leave it there, we've had a break and a new high, so I've extended it to here. We've had a break and a new high now, so let's see what happens. Okay, wow, there's the news. So if we continue higher, I can extend it out again, can't I? So started off here, so there, started off there. Then we opened it up to there because it pushed higher. Then we came back and pushed higher, so I opened it up to here. We pushed higher, and actually, strangely enough, that fits really nicely on the back, doesn't it? Or reasonably. So we've had a break, new high again. So until we come back down and make a new high, I'll leave that where it is. Mac doesn't talk much about the big chain altering bigger trends, does he? So we've had a break and a new high. Now let's see if we come down and push higher or whether we reverse or something else. I'm still not over this loss. Sorry, I couldn't control my emotions. Oh, don't worry about it, mate. Don't worry about it. I don't blame you. No one's going to blame you. Okay. Talks about it. I'll have to look into him, yeah. See, Mac talks about short-term trend channels and then opening up. So I opened it up to here then, basically, yeah. So because we had a break, we went higher, then I can open it up to here. If we had a break again and went higher, I can bring it back to here. We had a break again and went higher, I can bring it back to here. I'm assuming that's right, isn't it? It's not really made very clear, to be honest with you. I might have to email Mac and just confirm things. Okay, so yeah, it's getting a little bit stemmy and a bit choppy here, so nothing doing there. But okay, the news had a little bit of drop down. Thing is, it doesn't matter where you are in a trade, does it? It doesn't matter whether you have good news or bad news. We tend to spike in opposite directions. So even if you had a trade or a stop in here anywhere, it boom, you'd be out, wouldn't you? Okay, so we had a break and a new high, so I've extended my overall channel to here. Now we've had a break again. Let's see what happens. Does that make sense to you, does it? But also remember, PA doesn't always need to be in some kind of a channel range. Yeah, I get that. But if it breaks and make a new high, then I extend my channel, don't I? Otherwise, you'd only ever end up with that one, wouldn't you? Does that make sense? So we've had a break and a new high, so I've extended the channel. Yeah. Actually, I don't really need to extend the channel until it comes back down and does it again, do I? So we've had a break and a new high. Okay, that's played out now, this channel. So if it comes back and still goes higher again, then I can bring it to there. That makes sense, doesn't it? But now we've had a break and a new high. That might have played out and we may come down. 7 points. I'm so happy to have done something right for a change. Yeah. Do you know what, Jacko? Those bunch of days I had when I was doing all those green days, and I think 1 in 3 days I was hitting $1,000. I got to say, I thought I couldn't put a step wrong. And then you get one bad day. Now, don't get me wrong, that was a horrendous day. $2,300. A bad day for me should be 2 max trades, 2 losses, and that's it. So that wasn't a bad day. That was near on a catastrophic day. The trouble is, if you do that, it has such a mental, it's such a tough mental impact on you that it can really affect you. And that's, I think, what you want to try and avoid. If you have a couple of days, a couple of trades lost, it's $800. I tell you what I wouldn't give for an $800 loss instead of that $2,300. And I must say that now I've had that big loss, I think an $800 day loss won't feel nowhere near as bad when I've been there, been to the $2,300 sort of height. Being able to stay so disciplined with this drawdown. About on the evaluations, because I'm not doing the PA at the moment. I'll have to go down to 1. Well, to be honest with you, if I'm losing $400 on a trade, I've got to lose 6 trades to hit the drawdown off a normal $50,000 account. Now, if I hit 6 trades in a row, I'm clearly not ready to do this anyway. So I'd rather, I'd rather sort of get myself up a little bit quicker, because I think I'm good enough to be able to not hit the drawdown and not have 6 trades in a row unless I have something ridiculous like I did the other day. But I like the 2 contracts because they can get you there in a reasonable speed, but without overdoing it. Now, if I'm losing 6 trades and I blow that account, I'm clearly not ready anyway. So, yeah, the key is to stop trading after you hit loss limit. Yeah, I'm saying 2 trades from now. That'll take me account down by around about 750, 800. Now that is doable because I can make it back on a day. But whereas the $2,300, you've got the best part of a week's profit loss in a day. That has a mental impact on you. And I think after that, it's probably no reason. It's probably good enough reason you're going to come back and not trade properly, because that's going to stay in your head for a while. I probably need 3 days off after something like that. Okay, so we made a new high, so we've had a break, made a new high, we've had a break again. So I can bring that back now to the previous break and new high. So whereas we had that break and new high, we came back down, broke a new high again, so then I extend it, I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see it, can you? Yeah, the mental damage does last from something like that. I've got to say, I've been in a really bad place, and the 3 days make things better for me. The first evening, I'm feeling down and depressed. Second day, I'm trying to process it, but I'm still a bit frustrated. By the end of the second day, I'm feeling a little bit better. And the third day, I just sort of look for positive animation. What do they call them? Positive, some of these YouTube channels that tell you how amazing you are and how loved you are and all that crap. I tend to look affirmations, trader affirmations. You're a skilled trader. You're this, you're that. You know what I mean? I sit here and wait for those perfect trades, blah, blah, all the stuff. all that good mental positive stuff. So after 3 days, I'm usually back to normal. Raring for again. Okay, so we've had a break, new high. So that trend is now played out. So let's see. Either we're going to come down, go sideways, or go up again. And if we go up again, then I'll bring that to here. Affirmation. Yeah, that's it. There's quite a lot of stuff. I used to go to bed looking at that stuff when I used to have a bad day. You're a great persistent trader. You sit there and snipe the markets. The inexperienced amateur traders take bad trades, but not you, and all that sort of stuff. You are live. Yeah, all that sort of stuff. I am live. Sorry, I didn't see you there, bud. Yeah, I'm not trading that PA account. That's staying dormant until next week. But we had I had an email early hours of the morning, UK time, with the 80% off. So I thought I'll get a few evaluations, which is what was the plan anyway. So I'm here just trading those, nothing else. I feel quite clear in the mind, so I'm just get back to Tony Robbins. God, have you seen the hands on that guy? They're like shovels. He's a bloke, isn't he? He is. Tony Robbins. I see him on you remember that film with Jack Black years ago? What was that? I forget what it was now. He was on there, wasn't he? Banana hands, he called him. Yeah, he's a... Yeah, look, next time you see him, look at his hands. They're massive. Okay, let's see if... maybe. See if we get another bounce off here. Sometimes if you go from the other side, it seems to make more sense. On this case, let's have a look at that. Okay, so bounced off here, come back to it once. Yeah. Okay, maybe this is a less steeper uptrend. It's hard to say. Okay, we've used it here and here, haven't we? We've been rejected off here. Big, strong, bounced off the top, bounced off the bottom. I'd say this is as good a place as any. Push up, come back, push up, come back. Tony Robbins. He's a picture, isn't he? Okay. Okay, so that's all the news today, isn't it? So we shouldn't, hopefully, fingers crossed, have any surprises. Touch. Okay. So yesterday's highs are up here. No gap today. No real entry there anyway, was there? I suppose you could say there was a failure, but I'd rather hit it another time before I think about going long. Today's quote: there is a time to go long, a time to go short, and a time to go fishing. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, see, this channel might not be working. See what happens here. We might have had the new high. We might have had a break, push to a new high, and then possible reversal. Let's get rid of this for a minute. So, okay, so we've had the break, new high, or have we made a new high? I think it's as good as, isn't it? It's an equal high. Oh, no. Is it a new high? No, it's an equal high, isn't it? I think it's an equal high. Let's see what happens. See, if we bounce off this again, you could call it yeah. Things like triple tests, I I haven't done a lot of, so I'd probably best stay away from them. And I'm staying well away now from picking tops and bottoms. I just ain't doing it. If you go up here once, go up here twice, go up here 3 times, and they all finish bearish right at the same point, then I may go short. But I'm generally staying away from picking tops and bottoms. I usually do. I think having those green days in a row, I probably got a bit too confident. Yeah. See, although you could say this is a triple test, EMA is moving up, so. Okay, let's put that back. Where do we go from? There, I can't remember. Yeah, that looks a little better. Let me just get rid of this. Okay, so push up, push up. Okay, so we seem to be, I've gone from this bar here anyway. This is respected, that's pushed down, rejected. Touched it there, touched it here, bounced off me here. Okay. Penguins video from yesterday, I'll have a look at that. I usually watch him, but the plan was not to come back to training for a few days, but I did a little bit of rewatching over some of Mac's videos. I did join up again yesterday. Sometimes, see this thing with the trends, when do you reassess it or retrade it? He doesn't talk much about that. He talks about trend channels, short-term trend channels. He talks about reversals and that, but he doesn't say, okay, well, if we're going to have this down here, where do we start? Do we start straight from here, or I'd say that section there, then we had the break, come back, and then you sort of make it bigger, don't you? But he doesn't go over that much. Never touch a triple test. I see Mac talking about them often, but I think it's if it came up like this and pushed back here, and then push back and push back again along the same sort of line here, we strongly pushed up. We've tried once, and then we've tried twice more. If you end up with a bullish bar, and they both bounced off the same place, then you tend to think they'll come back once. Traders will try to push it down once, twice, then they tend to give up, and that's how I remember Mac talking about with those. But I tend to stay at those sort of lower highs, and second entries is my main thing, and the occasional failure if it's there. But I think the second entries are your sort of bread and butter, really, aren't they? Yeah, they do a lot, don't they? I'm not sure how long Marco's been trading. I'm guessing it's a few years. Thomas Wade does a really good job with channels. Doesn't necessarily talk about them a lot, but you just need to pay attention to how. Yeah, in fact, you're right, actually. He does, doesn't he? He does readjust them. I need to watch him a little bit. I usually do, but obviously with me streaming lately, I've spent more time sort of looking after my own charts. But yeah, I'll need to make sure. I did religiously at one point. But yeah, now I've had a couple of little issues with charts and adapting charts. Perhaps I need to recap. I mean, even some of if you look at top sportsmen, they still have coaches, don't they? I mean, even top tennis players, they still have coaches. So I think it's still important to keep looking at your basics. You've got to keep going over your bread and butter of trades, haven't you? It's quite easy to get into think, I'll try and pick a top up here or whatever, but you've got to keep your bread and butter trades. There is a possible second entry long there. If we come back here, and we'll see. So we've had this push up, we've had this break. Now I think quite likely we've had a break in a new low there. Maybe if we originally had that sort of here or something, I don't know. So whether that's played out or not, I don't know. By the by, anyway, we've clearly been, bouncing in the other direction anyway. So we've gone up steeply, and now we're going up a little bit less steeply. See if we can get something down here maybe. Next bar, I'm not going to take that, it's just too far off the EMA for me. Although it is a failure, it's just, there's not, I'd rather it come back here first, drop below here and then end up bullish, but I never generally take them. Hey Valentino, how you doing, buddy? Happy Friday. Do you know what? I don't do any more. I used to go out for a beer after work on Friday. I haven't done that for quite a few years now. When you get to 53, you just want to go home. pour a hot water bottle, put it behind your back and rest your feet. Okay, I want that to come down here a little bit first and then reject. So we had a push down, a little bit of sideways and a push down again. So that to me is 2 legs. So let's see if we can get, just going to get an order ready, just in case. That's what I want, yeah. So that to me is sort of down, sideways down. So if we can get a nice big bullish bar off the bottom here. Same with that. Down, a little bit of sideways down. Bullish bar. It's right at the very tick eye is perfect. And then we reject it off it again. So if we can get something here. See if we can ride it back. Let me just make this a bit bigger. Hopefully above the EMA. Looks like it might do. Stay strong, buddy. Stay strong. Yeah, let's put that there. Okay, that's okay, I think. That's one tick off its high. It's above the EMA. We've had one push down, a little bit sideways, another push down. Keep pushing off this bottom. And it's above the EMA. Push down, sideways, push down. Okay. Let's take that up to about maybe here or something. Yeah, what have we got? 90, 93. Let's take it a bit higher and I'll tend to jam me stopping that goes up. I'd expect it to come up to somewhere around about here possibly. Yeah, all the accounts are working fine. The PA account isn't moving, so that's good. We've done similar here. We've had a push up. We've had a big bearish bar right next to it. We pushed up against, so I'm okay with that. In fact, that will be a second entry long if that appears. And if it does, if that ends up bullish, I'm going to go long off that. I've got no problem with taking 2 trades at the same time. That would be a second entry long. In fact, that would confirm the other one nicely. I like that very much. Okay, so that might mean I can take my stop to there now, because if I'd have taken that second entry, I'd have put that there. Let's get an extra tick, so that's reduced my risk. So that, I like that. And you can class that as a perfect second entry off there. Nice place. Let's see if we can get something decent out of this. Once we can get to these highs, I'll jam my stop in. There we go. Lovely. Brilliant. $875 trade. That's what. Oh, I'll tell you what I haven't done. I haven't right-clicked. It's all right. I haven't. It went a bit higher as well. Look. I usually right-click and set the... what's it? You missed that one. Well, I've seen Mac talk about these before. That's a hidden second entry. Sometimes if it's green, it's better. We've had a push down, a little bit of size and a push down again. And we had that one which pushed up. That was below the EMA, so we got a push down, a little bit of size, push down. One tick off its high. Above the EMA, we're clearly moving upwards. And then that confirmed it with a lower high, perfect position. Bump. So $875 minus fees. So that's nice when that happens. And I waited for it, took it. So I think I can't see an issue with those two trades. I think they're good. That was a nice trade. That was an even better one. And the beauty of that enabled me to pull my stop up by about a point and have a point less risk. So nice start anyway. Very nice start. Damn shame I didn't have that PA up and running. So let me just see if I can, do I do this edit account? Okay, commissions. I usually set the commissions to lifetime. Okay, so first one, second one, edit account, commissions, lifetime. Okay, third one, take it off next time. I think it will edit account, commissions, lifetime. Okay, all good. Okay. Took the same one. Yeah, it was a nice trade, that was. I think that was a nice trade. I think that was even better. I see Mac doing this quite often, pushed it. It is a hidden sort of second entry. Sometimes it looks nice if it's green, but it clearly went down. Mixture of buyers and sellers, so that was a doji, and then down again. So that to me is two clear legs down. And there's... See, some people call that a doji, but it's not. It's literally finished on its very... It's pushed down red and it's pushed right the way back up to the top. So that's a good strong bar, that is. And we've had a couple of legs up. Try to go one structure, you know, we've same again. Push down, a little bit of side, just push down. Nice bearish bar, one tick off its high, closed above the EMA. That to me is going up. Especially when we've gone up, confirmed it, gone up, confirmed it. And same again, it's definitely confirmed. And then when you've got that one, these are too high, so there's a new count, so you've got a second entry. And a lower high, finished on its highs. That's why I went with another trade, because I've got no problems. If they're both good trades, I've got no problems, you know, getting in. It's also a failure. Well, actually, it technically isn't, is it? Because let's have a look. There's the new low there, because you see that one? We break up, so the recount starts there, so it's just a first entry. But it's a second entry from the top, second entry long, that one, and that is a hidden second entry long. And that's a standard second entry long, also a higher low, isn't it? It's higher low, low, higher low. Yeah. You took that one as well, did you, mate? Nice. Good on you. They're the trades I need to sit and wait for and leave all this shit. I tend to just, I'm looking for stuff, you know what I mean? I need to sit down and wait for the trade, because that just jumped straight out at me, and that one, well, if it didn't jump out at me, I wouldn't have took a second trade there, but for me, it was a no-brainer, that one. And you can tell how strong it was. There was a lot of people jumped in there because we had that good strong push up and it overshot the account. So that's a nice start. Okay. Trades are much more clearer than yesterday. Yeah, I've definitely come to the conclusion that... Will you agree with me, the fact that when we have those big news events, those, you know, like the Fed, when the Fed speak, when we have the non-farm payroll and the CPI data, will you agree with me that generally those days are choppier? So all I need to do is to add that little bit of extra good stuff to my trading is on those days, be extra vigilant and be extra aware. And if I do that, because it's all about sort of sewing up individual little parts of your trading, because you'll have some strengths and you'll have some weaknesses, and it's about just keep, tweaking at those little bits of your trading where you might have some weaknesses. And I think choppy, for me, trading in choppy waters is a weakness of mine. So I think that's definitely fair to say. Now that you're back on Max Forum, read. Lads, hold it. Let me just take a screenshot of that. I'll have a look later. Hey, what are you doing? I didn't see you there, mate. You've only just come in. Did you use... Yes, I did. It worked perfectly. They worked. I saw them going up. In fact, I didn't switch the positions tab. I should have done, actually, but yeah, it hasn't touched the PA accounts. It's just done those three, and they're all equal. So let me just take a quick screenshot of this. Where was it? Vlad Holy Grail post. Where do I find it? What? But where is it? Let me just. Where's this page? Oh yeah. I'll have a look at it. Otherwise, I'll mess up. In the forum, just search the bar. Yeah. Let me take a screenshot of the bar. I'll forget later. I've got a brain like a sieve at the moment. Let's have a look at the bar. Okay, screenshotted. I took a photo of it on my phone. Okay. It's from the 22nd of December, I believe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll have a look at that. Okay, so nice start to the day. Great start to the day. Two really nice trades. See, if you're patient enough, they will come. I've got to say, though, whenever your patience are lacking and you're frustrated, those trades do not seem to come along, do they? Yeah, it's. So do I extend that top of the range now? I suppose I do, don't I? Or do I probably drop it down? That probably looks a bit better, doesn't it? Okay. And we all agree? That looks better. Yeah, that fits nice at the tops, doesn't it? Starts here. Nice. Yeah, that's probably a bit better. If I'd drawn my area, I might have got my stop a bit higher. So what I need to avoid doing is picking tops now. Always seemed a good strategy to me. Stops you mucking around with congestion. I remember Vlad saying he sits in a coffee shop. He is based in Eastern Europe somewhere. Vlad, yeah, you think so. He's Eastern Bloc name, isn't it? Literally just sits, reads a book until a key entry point like that, and then trades the trade. Yeah, I think people underestimate how important that key entry point is. If you look at that one, right, the key entry point, yeah, in an uptrend, what happens? Straight up. That one, key entry point, straight up. That one, key entry point, straight up. That one. Whenever you get a bullish bar like this, pull back, bullish bar, off it goes. So considering that's a nice trend, see, in fact, you could have even taken that, couldn't you? I mean, no, you wouldn't. That was the news, but you could have taken that one as a higher low, couldn't you? But the trouble is we didn't really confirm this range until we come up. When we came back down again, I'd say, started here, I'd say, buy this, and those two tops, and you come up and back down again, you're thinking, yeah, well, this is definitely a trend. So, yeah, they don't really get much better than that one. That one, I think, is a nice trade. I think a lot of people avoid that because they don't understand this sort of down, hidden second entries down, a little bit of sideways and down again. But that one, that's sort of by the book, isn't it, that one? I mean, it has, you have had a bit of a stop at the same one there, but even if you rode that one up to the tops there, you'd have got 2.5 points, wouldn't you? But I don't think that was a major indicator of anything specific. But Okay, so where do I draw the line doing this? Now, at some point, you've got to say, right, that touches there and it touches there. At some point, you've got to say, right, we have an overshoot, haven't we? Because if I keep extending it, I'm not going to see an overshoot. So I'd say these overshoots, if you look, sometimes they do that. They go down, a little bit of sideways, and then down exactly the same again. Let's see if that does. There you go, something like that. I like to try and plot where I think they're going to go, because if it works, then the patterns I'm seeing are quite right. Down, a little bit of sideways and down again. Let's see if it does. The loss yesterday makes me doubt all my feeling about wanting to be a trading. Well, it's funny you should say that, bud. After I'd had that bad day, I felt really down and I felt really under pressure. Excuse me a sec. I felt really under pressure. And I did think for a second, is this really worth it? Do I really want to feel like this? But the reason I opened myself up to a bad position there by not stopping after 2 trades. Now, I'd say after that, I've learnt my lesson. Now I've put into position rules, because I thought, well, if I can trade an account and build it up, why do I need rules? I'll just do what I feel. But I was watching other people. I was looking at the warrior trader guy, and he says he broke his own rules. He lost, I think last Friday, $250,000 in one day. And he says he broke his own rules. So no matter how good you get at this or how many years you've been doing it, I think it's still important to have rules to follow. And I didn't really have any rules, to be honest with you, because this is the first time I've ever actually built an account up into sort of an amount. So I think rules are more important now than they've ever been. So, but yeah, that warrior trade guy lost $250,000 in one day. That's a lot of money. And I thought, wow, he's lost a lot. But then he told me, or he mentioned he made $900,000 in a day last week. So I'm thinking, well, it's only a small amount then. If you can make $900,000 in a day, $250,000 loss isn't a massive amount, is it? I've got to say, Jeffy, when I feel like that, I just try to give myself some space, I do. I'm keeping out of that. 2 pushes down because we've had an overshoot there. I'm not getting stuck in something. It may go long, it's quite strong, but we've had a push down, a little bit of sideways. I'd expect something else, and I'm leaving that anyway. But yeah, you need to give yourself a few days and let you give you some time to process it. That 2,300 I lost in a day, I felt physically sick at the end of the day. I couldn't believe I was stupid enough to do that. One thing I didn't do is randomly hit the buy and sell buttons. That's when I panic and go on tilt big style. And I've not done that. I've waited and taken bad or misguided trades. Well, that is an improvement on my usual going on tilt and using those 2 buttons, which I don't do anymore. And in fact, I was that bad at it, I had to get rid of that. I had to delete it. So I'm not doing that. So I am moving in the right direction. I think people believe you need to make a trade every day to be successful. Yeah. Now, do you know what? I think some of the best traders are quite happy to go home and not having a trade at all. Because it's much better to go home having a nice account at 0 and your pot is the same, rather than try and force trades and end up taking a couple of stupid losses. Because when you take a trade, see, that trade I took there, the second entry there, if that had lost, I wouldn't have beat myself up, because that to me jumped out as a good trade. So if that had lost, I'd have said I lost it due to lack of experience, and then I'll right click, take a screenshot, post it on the Facebook group and go, what happened to what went wrong, and then I'll get some feedback. And if I learn from it, I'm happy to lose it. If I took a trade that I knew was a stupid risky one anyway, I'll know while I've done it, I'll feel stupid and frustrated for doing it, and it just doesn't do me any favours. Replica. I've not tried Replicant, so I'm just using the Apex generic one. I believe a couple of people said it's just a different version or a rebranded version of Replicanto. You still need to trade every day, even on a sim. Just for absolutely, yeah. I've always been a believer in. I've read many people saying screen time, screen time, screen time. That's the key. You'll notice things. You'll notice patterns. You'll notice traps again and again where you see. And after a while, you'll just be able to browse at it, and you'll just know where to keep away from. That's something I've found lately. I was suffering along with you. It hit me hard. We all deal with the same demons. Absolutely. That's why I think it's a good idea. You know, I've had a couple of messages lately from newish lads saying, I've seen you trading, blah, blah, blah. And the first thing I always, and they apologise for trading. The first thing I always say, you can message me anytime. If I can tell you something that I was struggling with 6 months ago because you're less experienced than me, then I'm happy to pass it on. Or if you've had a bad day, I'm happy to give you a few words of encouragement because I have had so much of it back myself. Somebody mentioned to me about starting a Discord, and I go, it's a bit complicated, blah, blah, blah. And someone said, well, charge £10. Well, I can't do that because people have helped me. I'm not a believer in making money and other traders having to pay me when I've had so much help myself. I've had so many comments from people, and no one's ever charged me for them, so I'll never do that. The only reason I have that Apex thing is because I know it doesn't cost you any money. So I said to this guy, I said, anytime you want to message me, don't worry about it. You know, you can message me. So I've probably got it here somewhere. But I do get some nice messages from someone, and I'm quite happy. Where was it? Where is he? Was it this guy? Yeah, sort of this guy. I can't move it, can I? Why can't I move it? No, I can't move it. No, a guy called Rick Grayson, Lance. I've been watching your streams, blah, 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 experience, psychological side, Happy New Year, and all that sort of stuff. And I go, cheers, thanks for the kind words. I'm happy you're finding it somewhat, if you did. You know, so I'm happy to help people because I've had loads of help. You know, the good thing about me is because I'm in the UK, I'm at least 5 hours ahead of you guys. And I quite often have nights where I can't sleep. So 2 o'clock in the morning and I've got something on my mind in the past where I've been at the earlier learning stages. And I've messaged someone because I know you guys are behind me. And I've got up and I've dug my phone out because I can't sleep and message you guys. And I always get good positive stuff back. So I've had loads of good stuff. So as far as I'm concerned, all I'm doing is passing it back, passing it on to the next guy in line. You know, we're all the same. We're all in this together. We've all had the same pain and suffering. And that, I think, in a way, gives you a bit of a bond, doesn't it? And I was talking to my wife a couple of days, and she went, I thought you were going to stop after 2 trades. I went, I was. Well, she went, well, why didn't you? And I went, it's not as easy as you think. You just don't get it. And I got to say, non-traders who've never tried trading it have not got a clue. They think, well, just don't do it. They got no idea, have they? No, they got no idea. Jack Apex copier is a repackaging. Yeah, I've heard that as well. Main difference is Replicanto's customer support is good, and Apex doesn't provide. Yeah, remember that issue I had with these? I'd listened to. At the end of the day, he sold me it. Daryl sold me it. I watched his video. He's selling me it. He should provide some sort of customer support because he never mentioned about having 2 of them opened, and I ended up blowing a couple of accounts. And I messaged him because I thought, well, if they do anything, great. If they don't, they don't. And I just got basically that we don't support it. And, you know, that's it. No, they don't. Non-traders haven't got a bloody clue, have they? My wife goes, well, why don't you just stop? Yeah, all right then. Yeah, they got no idea, of they, non-traders? I think everyone should be forced to... I think my wife should be forced to sit with me at least 2 days a week just to see the pain and suffering. But no, they just don't know. And non-traders just can't imagine what the psychological side's like, how painful it can feel and how you can feel physically sick and depressed. You know what I mean? They got no idea. No, they got no idea, have they? Bloody non-traders. Okay, so that overshoot hasn't really done anything as yet, has it? Let's see if it comes back over here. In fact, no. So, would any of you guys, now that overshoot hasn't really done much, in fact, we've pushed it too far, it might do yet. It's not over here. If it pushes back above here, then you probably extend that, but we've had a couple of pushes up. So, we may pop out the bottom. We may come back down. So, there are people consistently trading 20 accounts with a copy. Yeah, I know that guy who had that $800,000, he's got $2,300,000 accounts. Now, if he's built that sort of money up, he's obviously been through the mill, hasn't he? He's obviously spent a lot of time using the trade copy, and he's never had a problem. I mean, nothing's 100%, is it? But like what's it said, as long as you have the position, if something doesn't trigger out, it's going to show here. You right click and then just kill all accounts, don't you? It probably sounds a bit scary to new guys like me who've never really used it. But once I've done it a couple of times, it's probably... And not just that, you think if the trades aren't being kicked out and they're still going, you're going to be losing. When you could just as well, it could just as well be going higher. You know, if it's my stop here and it doesn't trigger to, by the time I cancel it might have gone up a bit more. So I've got to be careful going along here because we've had this overshoot and we could end up doing something like that, couldn't we? So I want to be careful going. I've been trapped with this before, actually. I'm going to leave that there to remind me not to go long yet. Even though that could be a failure, the fact that we've had this overshoot, it can come out the other side, or I believe it can create a break or a new trend down. People's computers, computing power. Yeah, possibly. See, I'm not very massively computer-minded. I built my own computer. That's as far as I only built it just because there was some specifics I wanted that I couldn't get, and I quite enjoy challenge. I got to say though, it was the biggest surprise I've ever had was the fact that I switched it all and it worked. Plugged all the components in, did all the wiring, put everything together. I already had a copy of Windows on a little flash drive, plugged it in, reloaded it, uploaded it, and everything worked. Shorted that second leg. Here, one leg, two legs. Yeah. I'm certainly not thinking about going long here, although it might go up. The fact that we've had this overshoot, this might be an overshoot, or it might push up here and then come back down, or it might trigger you, but I want to let that have a play out first before I think about getting into it. In fact, Daryl does a webinar, doesn't he, about computers? And I've got to say, he's very good at what he does, but I would argue with anybody that says you need 260 megabytes of RAM as a trader. I think that's ridiculous. I mean, even the biggest flipping gamers on the planet only have about 32 gig of RAM. He said he's got 256 gig of RAM. No. No. I did look at that, Emily. Trouble is, we've had this bit of an overshoot there, so I wasn't sure whether it was going to tick above and then come down, but good on you, you've done well there, and that is a failure. I mean, we've had that. The overshoot has compensated for this, and obviously the trend's quite strong, so it's pushed up. But sometimes I don't like it when you get them back to back. They make me a bit nervous. But good on you. So let's get rid of that. And this. Yeah, I remember Max saying sometimes these overshoots can result in a break out the other side. A reversal, sorry. And two legs up. And having this coming down, I thought we may come down here and... Someone went short, didn't they? Who was it who went short? Six figures daily, I think it's okay to be overkill. Yeah, but 256, I've got 16 at the moment, and most videos I saw about building a PC, they said 16 megabits was ample. If you want to go overkill, 32, but Daryl's got 256. I didn't even realise computers would hold that. I don't know, I've seen a motherboard that could hold 256. Now I thought if you want to go a bit overkill, I think 32's ample. You have a decent PC, built also, but bog standard laptop off the shelf. Yeah. All I did was I used decent quality components, like, you know, I got some decent quality RAM, not just the thin sticks. This had a little bit on the top with a few lights, a little bit better quality. I got a better quality gaming motherboard. They're a little bit harder wearing. I've bought cheap computers before and they've never lasted. So yeah, I got a decent motherboard. I got one of these, the PCI 2 new SSD slots, the thin. It's just like a little stick. I stuck a 500 gig one of them, and I recently bought an NVIDIA 2060, which is an above average gaming one, which is ample for this, because I struggled. I couldn't have one screen here and another screen. It would go like this. It would just, you know what I mean? It would slow down with the graphics card I had. I didn't think I needed a decent graphics card, but once you start streaming and opening more than one chart, it starts to just, it doesn't run smoothly. Yeah, I've got 16 gig. I don't know how Daryl says 256. That's like 15 times the. No, I don't. Good luck with a graphics card these past few years. Graphics card. Yeah. Pay huge amounts of money for a graphics card, can't you? They really went up, didn't they? It was all the miners, wasn't it? Mining all the cryptos. The trouble is, because of the price of electric's gone through the roof, it's just not viable I looked into mining about 2 years ago, and you could make, you know, the card I was looking at, you can make about $8 a day, but based on, you know, 30 days a month or whatever. But I did just go onto this site where you put in all your details, and I'd actually be losing money. So I think eBay has got a lot more second-hand graphics cards on there now. Yeah, 256 is just, I don't know where he's got that idea from, but that's not even overkill, that is. That's like sending a bloody tank to a knife fight, that is, isn't it? So we've had that overshoot, haven't we? Let's just work out what I got here. First 190. 4.75 and 4. 475 and 4. Okay. 475. So I don't know, as you type this slow, I got the mic in front of me. So that's +4 plus. Okay. Okay, overshoot there. Overshoot here. A couple of pushes up. Right, I'm going to be careful going along here because I don't like the way... It's getting a little bit sidewaysy, choppy here, isn't it? I mean, this could be a second entry long off here. The fact that we've had this overshoot, push up, we haven't gone very high this time. It's a new low. Shorted 25 contracts, so a bit sizey too. 25 contracts. Are you on an eval, or you on a demo? I'm assuming you're on a demo if it's 25 contracts, are you? Well, you've got balls of steel. Let's say 25 contracts. Whiskey here in Scotland. I've got to say, my most favourite whiskey now. First, it was the second bottle of single malt I had, Lefroy 10-year-old, and I think it's from Islay, and they use peat to dry the barley, and it's got a really strong, smoky, burny flavour. First time I opened the bottle, I had a sniff of it, and I thought, that's disgusting, I can't drink that. And another guy I know who's into his whiskies as well, he said, every week, come back, have another sip, have another sip. And I did that for a month and a half, and it's my most favourite whiskey now. I just absolutely love the smell of it. But if you have your non-whiskey drinkers, they smell it. They feel like, how could you drink that stuff? I know we just had our gas and electric bill, £370 for the month. Shocking that, isn't it? £370. That's about $450, isn't it? For a month, gas and electric. It's horrendous, that is. But I know, hopefully I'd say around the summer they should be going down, because I know natural gas and oil's dropped in price. I think, what is it? It's about $80 a barrel. You're up in the, you're to do with oil, Sam, aren't you? Up that way, rigs. You're watching that new series of your rig. Is it called Rig? Where they're on that rig, and they have a from renewables, 50%, yeah. That's more than I thought, actually. So why are we paying so bloody much? Yeah, it is, isn't it? We got those big wind turbines everywhere, haven't we? You've seen it? Yeah, it's a bit. Am I about episode 5, I think. It's a bit unusual, isn't it? It's the guy from what's it, isn't it? With H. It's the guy. What was it called? That cop series it was on. It's quite good, that was. Yeah, they've had some sort of weird seismic event under the sea, haven't they? And it's this weird bacteria, whatever it is. Yeah, it is a bit odd, isn't it? You're long now, are you? I'd say what else has gone up as well. I think by 2030, there's going to be no diesel or petrol cars made. So anything new from 2030 on has got to be electric. Trouble is, it's more expensive now to charge a car than electric than it is to put diesel and petrol in your car. So go figure that one. They're trying to get us onto electric. So that is a second entry short there. No, it's not actually. Forget that. There's a supernatural stuff. Yeah, kind of like it, actually. It got a bit weird, and then it's got a bit better, actually. I like that supernatural stuff. The guy that's in it, the boss is in it, he was in that program done in, where was that? Supposed to be in Iceland. What was it called? Program a few years ago, where they found that buried the elephant. What's the elephant? From the dinosaur days, what they call. They found that buried in the ice cap. What was that series? It was another good series with him in it. Yeah, but I mean, you're encouraging. They did that with diesel. They said buy diesel. It's much better for the planet. You get more miles to the gallon. Now they're saying diesel's bad. They're getting rid of it. So they've said go buy electric. Electric's good, cheaper to run. Blah blah blah. Well, no, it's not, because one, the price of them about 75% more than the standard car, and now it's cost more to juice up because electric's expensive. Just doesn't make sense, does it? We take a failure along here. Well, technically, it's not a failure. If you look at that, see that one? Oh, no, tell a lie, it is, yeah. It is a failure, but I don't know. The way this is bouncing up here and pushing down strongly, I wouldn't be wanting to go long into that lot. I'm not saying it's not going to go up. We could get a move out of here now, see? We've pushed up and we've trying to go higher there, haven't we? We're trying to go another time, big bearish bar. So if it does manage to break up here, I'd say there's going to be some shorts trapped there, but just the way that's sitting at the moment, it doesn't install confidence in me to go long. I'd say there's a good chance we may come out of here. We may have something like that. No, we have. Okay, yeah, it just it's looking like it's struggling to get a bit higher there. Start paying better price to politicians. You can't do that over here. It's not like the American guys. Yeah, it's harder to get away with bribes and corruption over here. Yeah, it does look like we could have a bit of a break out here. Whether we'll have a break. So we've had a break and a new high. In fact, we haven't even had a new high, have we? I want to try to advertise. So this looks like it may start to fail. Let's have a look. Just seeing what would stop it there. Yeah, there is a little bit of resistance around there, isn't it? So that's as good a place as any to fail. Strong push down, break, couple of pushes up, and a push up. So yeah, we could get a move down. It's certainly starting to look like it's struggling to get higher. I don't really want to go long or short there at the moment. In fact, I'm just going to bear me 5 minutes. I'm just going to have a quick 5-minute break, make a cup of tea. It's a bit messy anyway, so I'll speak to you in 5. Okay. Yeah, it did start to look like it was losing momentum, didn't it? So whether we have a... let's have a look. Let's see if we can make this fit somewhere. That's okay. Yeah, I kind of like that one. After this overshoot, then it seems to go sideways, so let's put that like... Yeah, certainly a bit sideways chop at the moment, isn't it? So, I hyper scalp my points up to 5.56, up to 5.5 points up. I understand the system. Let's make more. Is that more money for that? What's New Zealand like at the moment, Emily? Is it warm? I know you get some. You tend to think because you're literally off the coast of Australia. You tend to think you get warm weather, but it's not always the case, isn't it? My brother went over there 10 years ago to do some work, and you get some pretty cold weather over there as well, don't you? It's not. You tend to think that way. You know, you're on the same wavelength of Australia, but you get some cold weather over there. It's supposed to be one of the best places to live in the world. New Zealand, isn't it? I've heard that described before. All but to bait the shorts. Very wet, raining, and we had a cyclone. Grief. And baiting the shorts. There we go. So push up, pull back, push up again. Shorts trapped. Going along, let's have a look. Because usually when we go up, sometimes we can't sustain it, so then we'll go sideways, and then sometimes we'll drop out the bottom a bit, and then move up again. Yeah, it's one thing I hate is wet. I like the UK because we've got a nice combination. So when we've had a hot summer, we had hot summer this year, we hit records. I think it was about 41 degrees centigrade, 41.2 or something. I mean, that's hot. We'd beaten the previous. I think the previous was 38 degrees. And when you've had a long hot summer, I kind of like it when it gets cool and you get those nice fresher nights, and you get a winter sometimes. And you know, if you've had a fall of snow and you take the dogs out in the evening for a walk and the sky's all lit up because of the bright snow, and you get that nice crunch under your foot. I kind of like the colder weather, and you know, you have hot stews and hot baths and, you know, nice nights in and that. And then when you've had a cold winter and you know, the spring comes and you start to get nice and warm. So the good thing about the UK is we get a nice mixture of weather. You know, whereas a lot of places in the world, you tend to get cold a lot or, you know, hot a lot. But we're quite lucky here. We don't have cyclones. We don't have tornadoes. We don't have earthquakes. We have nothing here. We got no poisonous spiders, no poisonous snakes. Nothing's going to kill you over here. No. You can swim in our coastline. Nothing's going to kill you or eat you or rip your legs off. No, we got nothing here. I think we've got something called the adder, which, yeah, I don't think it does you any harm, really. I know our places like America and Australia, you've got rattlesnakes, you've got spiders, you've got sharks. We get nothing over here. Pretty nasty ex-wives, that's about it. Not that I've got an ex-wife, but they can do you a lot more damage, they can. Maybe not physically, but mentally. Which city am I based in? I live in a little town called Shrewsbury. Now, most of you may know it, and you don't realise you know it, because it's where Charles Darwin was born and went to school and grew up. And our local library in town, if you go into the library right to the top, turn left, you'll go into which was his classroom. And it's a big sort of stone, it's a brilliant stone building, and all down the sides they've got like oak benches, and there's names and dates scratched in going back to the early 1700s. And right across the road from that, we got Shrewsbury Castle, which is about 800 years old. So you may have heard it, or you may not have heard it, but you've certainly one of his most famous residents. Thank you, Toad. Back on the saddle. Yeah, it's nice to come in and I think what it was is I probably got a little bit too confident, thinking, well, I've done it now, haven't I? You know what I mean? And I've just left rules out. If I would have had that 2 loss trade implemented on that first big losing day, I think I'd have still been okay now. But I've got to say, I do try and take lessons from these things. And that big loss taught me a lesson. And I've got to say, if I walk away from a losing day, $800 down, it won't seem nowhere near as bad as walking away from an account $2,000 odd down. So, yeah, it is just chippy choppy at the moment, isn't it? I think I'm pretty good at reading the overall market, especially when we get better days. It's when it's choppy. The trouble is, trades don't work as well. They're not as obvious. So I just need to, add these additional skills to my sort of portfolio to know when to stay out when it starts to do this. Just don't try and pick tops or bottom, but just stay out of it. So it's all about constantly developing your skills, isn't it? Trying to implement things that's, where you've got weaknesses, and because we've all got strengths and weaknesses. Some things we're good at than others. So, it's easy to rely on your strengths and then, forget about your weaknesses. And then my weakness, as in jumping into choppy days, obviously, I got my arse kicked severely last week, or earlier in the week, rather. But when I take my time and hopefully get the market correct and we get an uptrend, we get a couple of nice entries there, then when you take those, they work. And they work. I mean, trades like those two, especially in an uptrend like this, probably work 95% of the time. But it's just having the patience and waiting for them, isn't it? Sometimes you can get a bit of money, get a bit of green, and you tend to think maybe you're a bit invincible and you can get away with trying this and trying that, and it's easy to get, get fooled and then make a stupid mistake. Because mistakes, $400, that's quite a costly mistake, really. Maybe not to a lot, but to me, $400 loss just for a stupid mistake is, The trouble is, it doesn't feel as bad because it's money I built up from an Apex. Whereas if I'd put money of my own account in there, the losses affect you more. So I like the idea of doing with Apex and building money up from zero, really. You don't feel that bad when you lose it compared to, putting your own, literally physically putting your own money in. Yeah, you can't really trade this really safely, can you? And the big smoke. Trading isn't stressful. I know, Shrewsbury. Are you London, are you? Eddie. Have you been on here before? I seem to recognise your little icon. I can't remember. Have we chatted before? We might have done. I'm not sure. Have we? Because there's another couple of good. There's a couple of people. There's another one who lives. Where does he live? Southeast. I think it's East London. He lives. Excuse me a minute. There's another guy from East London. Excuse me. Sorry. Still got this tickly cough which just keeps interrupting me. Yeah, there's a guy from Kent, I forget his name, and Norfolk. James, there's a guy I speak to from now and again from Norfolk. His name's Joe, and he was a teacher. And him and his girlfriend went over to Dubai about 10 years ago, 8 or 10 years ago, and they taught over there for 12 months. And they came back, their contract ended, and he got into trading a while later. And I think, did he say he was, I can't remember how long he said he traded for, 3 or 4 years. And and he was making some good money, so he decided with his girlfriend or wife now to move over to Dubai. He told me he was earning 300,000 a year at the time, and he was paid 140 grand tax a year. And he worked out that he could live in Dubai comfortably for just the money he was paying to the UK government for tax. And he moved over there probably 2 years ago. And now and again, I see him in something and have a little chit chat with him. But he was originally from Norfolk, so there's quite a lot of UK. We got Keith and Sam. They're Aberdeen way. So we got James, you in Norfolk. Hafiz, yeah, you're from. I spoke to you before. You're from London again. So we got quite a few. Starting to take over. You Yankees are beginning to be the minority here. We got Emily up there from New Zealand. Yeah, there's quite a few of us here on the Norfolk Suffolk border. Yeah, it's nice countryside up there. It is nice part of the world, I got to say. Yeah, we're getting quite a few UK guys, because I know when I started this with Pats, I never knew anybody in the UK. So when it come to withdrawing money or asking questions about this, because obviously we're affected a little different than you guys from the US. Things are a bit easy if you're in the terms of, you're getting paid in dollars, where we've got to convert ours over. So, and not just that, at the moment, because the pound is weak, I think we're getting this $2,000 I've got coming is about 1,650 quid. Now I remember not that long ago when you got $2 to the pound, so that $2,000 would only be worth 1,000. So the fact that the pound's weak at the moment it's good for if you get paid in dollars. So, but obviously it doesn't affect you guys really, does it? Okay, so let's just yank this one in a little bit to here. Let's just remove that a minute. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. No, I think it's more, let's leave that a minute. Okay, so that, to me, is a range. Now, that is a breakout of a range, and we have gone up. So I would say, the fact is that we've had this high, it's gone up. Every time it's gone up lower, which makes me nervous, makes me think it's dipping. But they do say fade to breakout, don't they? And that is a breakout, because we've had some sideways, but I just don't like the way there's something about it I don't like, and I've mentioned before, when I'm up, I tend to get extra cautious. So I just don't fancy taking that, because the EMA is pointing down, and it's not just shot out quickly, it's slowly gone down, isn't it? So why you don't switch to a test or MES or go contract down, you have a cushion, no reason to risk anything on Friday. Well, to be honest with you, I'm just trading the 3 evaluations at the moment, and I don't know, I like 2 contracts. It gets you through it quicker. But to be honest with you, to blow that account, I've got to take 6 bad trades in a row. Now, if I'm taking 6 bad trades in a row, I'm clearly not ready to trade. Or I'm clearly messing up and I need to walk away for a bit and stay away. So that's why I do it, because I figure 6 trades should be enough of a cushion to get that up. And obviously, the quicker you get that up, the more of a cushion it becomes. So I just tend to think, and that is a second entry long there. That's probably not a bad trade. New high there, second entry long. I just don't like it. It's probably likely going to come back up to the EMA, possibly back into the trade, but it's not just dropped out of a standard trend channel, a range, because it slowly started to dip here. So I think that's risky going along there. It's quite possibly going to go in, but it's not just popped out the bottom, it's slowly dipped. So for me, the upwards momentum is just being lost, I think so. And it looks like, by the way that's finishing, you'd be lucky if you don't get stopped out if anybody's took that second entry short long. You might be okay now. It depends. You may get away with it, but that's why I don't like taking them. I've took them before, and they've, you know, if we come to the top and we popped out here, then I'll probably take it back in, especially as we've been up. But the way that's slowly dipping, the fact if that does become bullish, then you could say that's a higher low, and that may be a way in, but that's just something about it I don't like. And obviously, with my the last 2 days of trading, I'm being just extra cautious at the moment. That looks to me like it could stop you out. Although it's not a terrible trade, it's clearly a second entry long. Big bullish bar ending on its high, broken out the bottom of the channel, been in an uptrend. The bit that's making me nervous is that it's slowly dipping. Does look like it's going to do okay. And it's a little bit sideways, isn't it? So I just don't want to take a stupid risk. I mean, if it finishes on its high, I don't think it's a bad trade then, but I'm just not. Yeah. I know it's a terrible trade if it goes long. No, we've had a second entry long, higher low. It's probably going to come up to here at least, I'd say. But I'm not confident it's going to pop back in. I just think it's going to come back down again, I think. Just recently found your channel, so good to hear someone from the UK making relatable content. Wise will never understand. I got to say, sometimes I talk to my wife about what's going on, and she is, bless her, she does her best to look interested, but she struggles. So she came home a couple of days ago and was talking about work, and I said the same. I was just nodding like this, and she went, "What did I say?" I went, "I'm listening." What did I say then? I went, "Oh, I don't know. I was thinking of something else." She does the same. Yeah, I don't think it was a bad trade, to be fair. It's just the way it went a bit sideways, but I mean, the saying is fade to breakout, especially when we're in the what's it. It's just the fact that high, lower high, lower high, lower high. It seemed to me like it was just going like that, and I'm not convinced it's fact. That may even be a good second entry short, but it may be a place where they're going to get trapped. So as we're dipping down, see, that might be a place to go short, but I'm just staying out of it until I find something obvious. I don't know whether it is this. I'm just drawing it just to see if anything fits, see what happens. But if it does bearish, it is a second entry short. And I'd like to say today's bias, but it's not necessarily, is it? Because we've had this good strong push down, and now we've had the push up. I mean, that push down was more of a drop than that was up. So we could be coming down still. It's certainly it just goes to show, doesn't it? Perhaps it doesn't really matter what this does if we break out the bottom of a range. You got some nice points out of that. What would you have got for the higher low? Yeah, you'd have got 3.5, certainly 3.5 points there. Definitely 4 points. So that turned into quite a good trade. Anybody else take any of them? Still calling a massive push up. Well, it's certainly strongly moved back in there, isn't it? So perhaps that was a good trade, actually. Fact, it wasn't a second entry short, was it? Pushed high once there, push high once there. Let's try to go once, try to go twice, failed. No, that was just fading the range. That was fading the range, and that was just a higher low. And look at that. It could go right to the top, couldn't it? And further beyond. Wow, that was a good trade. Anybody else in that or get some out of that? Yeah, that might be a good 10 points of that. Right to the top if you can get it, 10 points. Might go. Still calling a massive. Yeah, there's no reason why it couldn't be. In fact, if you look at this daily, I don't think since we started this at the beginning of the year, we've had pullbacks. We had pullbacks there, but we haven't had quite such a strong push up. I mean, this it could pop out the top of the range there, couldn't it? That might be the first time. Well, it's come up once before, isn't it? But that first time a pullback is come, could be possibly. I was waiting for the failed second entry close at the bottom of the range above the amount. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think if that was a failure or something there, then maybe I'd have took that. But I think that was okay. I wouldn't be shocked if Mac marks that as well, and that. Because they say most breakouts fail. Now, the only thing that stopped me taking this was the fact that I'd had 2 bad days, so I'm extra cautious. 2, that I'm already a nice chunk up for the day, so I don't want to take things that don't install confidence in the fact that this was just dipping. So I thought maybe it might come up a bit and then come down, but you took it to the EMA. Yeah, look at that. That's why a lot of the times I'll get to 3.5, 4 points, and I'll just jam my stop in. And if it goes higher, I can follow it up. Whereas if, like Taylor, I take profit at 4 points, I only get 4 points. A lot of the times I've quite often got 8 and 10 points. Quite a few trades where I've got that. And there may only be a couple where it's come down a bit and I've gone down to 2 points. So it certainly seems to work better for me doing it that way. So yeah, I prefer it because a lot of the time, if you just, you wait to 4 points and you jam your stop here, and where was 4 points? If I took that to 4 points, say there, yeah, okay. So there's 4 points. So that would be where my profit would be, yeah. Okay, so I'll get rid of that a minute. That would be where my profit would be. So as it pushes up there, I'd probably drop my stop in here. Yeah. Now, if it come back and tick me, that's fine, but it went up. So I'd probably take that up a bit more. You know what I mean? Maybe to here. So it does work in my favour that way, not having a fixed profit. And the only reason I do that is because I know there is potential to get right up back to here. Yeah, I like Taylor. I like him. And Marco. I think Marco's got the perfect personality for trading. You listen to him talk and he's very robotic. It's not, sometimes trading can be quite a grey area. You know what I mean? There's a certain amount of experience. It's not a case of saying, yeah, that's black, I'll take that, that's white, I'll leave it. There's a lot of grey area. And I think experience helps there. But Marco almost trades like that's a good trade or no, it isn't. There's no sort of in between. So I think he's got the perfect personality to trade, which I think is why he's so good at it. But I do like listening to, because Marco only does a bar by bar on a Friday, whereas Taylor, I think most days, doesn't he? He does, he'll pick trades and he picks losers as well. There was a trade I took last week that it lost and I couldn't understand it, and he took the same thing. So it just goes to show, even the experienced guys, it happens as well. So that kind of makes you feel better. Okay, so we've had a push up and a break. So someone else mentioned long. So maybe as if there's a couple of pushes down here, around about here or here, would you go along there? It's hard to say. See, this could possibly still be a bit of a trend, and we've had a breakout. We may come down. So it's just... having said that, I think probably the trend isn't as important as the fact that we're just fading the breakout back into the range, which tells me we've had a breakout here. We could have a possible push up higher. So I'd say it's probably more likely. I'd probably be more confident in going long than thinking that that was a trend and we've had a breakout. Shall see. Successfully took that short bearish pin bar. This here. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Sometimes, although it looks bearish, sometimes it's nicer to have a pin bar because then you know the longs have taken it right up and the shorts have overtaken them. If there's no longs in there, the shorts have taken that down easy. But the pin bar, the longs have then clearly pushed it up and the shorts have then overpowered them. So that makes a bearish pin bar. I'd say a bar like that would be a lot stronger than a bar like that, because that's just opened here and come down. That's opened here, pushed right the way up, and then it's been overpowered by the sellers and pulled right back down. So I'd much prefer to short on those than I do this, you know, the sort of solid red bars. The rule of threes has helped me. You get 3 bars in one direction. You have to let the momentum wear off before you enter in the other direction. Did you mention something about that, about Al Brooks? Was that you, Chad, was it? Somebody mentioned about Al Brooks, something about 3 pushes up. The rule of threes. Is that an Al Brooks thing, is it? Because if it is, I'm going to have to spend a bit more time watching some of him just to get a few extra tips. Just to maybe... Hey, Sharon, how you doing? I'm okay, mate. How are you? Didn't see you there. You fitted in the middle with the rest of them there. But mind you, you've got a girly colour there, pink. So, but so has Jacko actually. So Jacko, you might have to go a little bit more manly, mate. Keep the pink for the ladies. Three white soldiers or 3 black cows. Right. So I'm guessing you're talking about Al Brooks, aren't you? Because he uses black and white, doesn't he? Is that what you mean? Good. Excellent. Okay. Now I'm just wondering now. Put that there before, didn't I? Yeah. So I'm not saying this is a downtrend, but let's see what happens here. Push down, break. Back into the range, if it is right, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It doesn't look, it sort of looks right, but it doesn't, if you know what I mean. That makes any sense. Well, maybe we are coming down. Maybe we are. Watch Al Brooks to get confused. He's getting a bit old now, Al Brooks, isn't he? I learned it from Taylor. Oh, I got you. Does Taylor have any sort of website or any other group, does he? Isn't he so into... Don't they have a little training thing, him and Marco, don't they? Top Pick. Is Top Pick? I think they do a little course or something, don't they, I think? Yeah, so... That could be right. It's sort of, well, it's not really confirmed a third time, has it? Because it's pushed straight forward, but it is coming down. So, I don't know, maybe it is, or maybe it's going to bounce here and that trend channel can, let's get rid of this. Maybe that trend channel's coming down a little bit. Okay, now that would make sense. Let's bring that out here. Okay. Now that, if that finishes here and pushes back in, I'd say that trend channel, range, not that I'd want to go long there, although I don't think it'd be a shocking trade, but I would forget that downtrend. I would probably call that a hidden second entry short. Push down a little bit of a break now. Fishing now. Yeah, I agree with you there. Mac Thomas and Top Pick trading, yeah. I just wish Mac had do more of a bar by bar. You know where they put the bar to the right, don't they? And they just hit the arrow button and it comes like this. I'd like to know what goes on through Mac's mind when he sees things. I'd like to hear Mac saying, okay, we've pushed out, we've made 2 legs down, that there I think is a good trade, and then mark it and then move it again. I wish he'd do that. Instead of just having the chart and zooming in and saying, I took that, that was a trade, that was a trade. I want to know what goes on. Because I've heard Mac say a few times, that might be a long trade there. I kind of sort of like that, but I don't want to take it. I've heard Mac say a few times he only still takes 2 to 3 trades a day, but he marks 10, doesn't he, or 15 sometimes. I'd like to hear Mac say, okay, we're doing this, we're doing that. I would take that one, all right. You know what I mean? So push them to the side and then bring them in a bar at a time. The same thing Marco does. I wish Mac would do that. And I often think, as much as I like Mac, and he's a lovely chap, and he's done a lot for traders, and it's incredibly cheap. He doesn't always explain things very well. Yeah, I've watched Wilson, V. Wilson, for quite a while now. There used to be another guy as well, Merce, M-E-R-C, or he used to trade as well. In fact, Wilson, he started, he was on a demo account, I think, but he was trading, 20 contracts or something. And I know it's on a demo, but he killed it, absolutely killed it. And then he started going on to the evaluations and really struggled. So it just goes to show you how much of it is psychological. Because if you watch him trade the demos, he's clearly taking good trades. He's reading the market okay, but it just goes to show it doesn't matter how good you are at spotting, reading markets and that, just that psychological stress on you just makes you think differently. You wouldn't think it would, but it so does. Okay. I'd say we're probably likely coming up a bit now. But prices, see, there was that one, wasn't there? Pushed up, but it came back down, but it didn't break lower, and it is prices. See, I thought that was coming down, but that's not. I mean, that's clearly now range. Prices are clearly respecting the bottom of that range. So that probably wasn't a terrible trade, but your arse will be twitching a bit there, but yeah, it sort of started here, didn't it? And it's clearly respected here, so that is definitely a it's definitely a range. So what are we going to do? Are we going to push up again? It's hard to say, isn't it? But push up, push down. Love the doji, yeah. See, that one would have panicked me. If I'd have gone long there and I'd have come back, yeah. My knees would have been knocking, I think, about there. Although, just the way it is clearly respecting it. I think it's quite likely it's going to go up. But, I don't know, that one and that one is starting to, would make me a little bit nervous. Clearly the shorts are trying to, in fact, it might be likely that it may make another leg, it may break out of it, it's hard to say, but certainly the shorts are trying to push it lower, aren't they? You don't feel confident now. I wouldn't. I suppose the only saving grace is a small bar, that isn't it? What is it? Wow, that's going to be one of the smallest bars you see, that is, isn't it? What is that, 1.25? It's not often you see a 1.25 bar now, is it? So tick above, tick below, 1.75. It's about as low risk as you can get nowadays, isn't it? It's not often you see a bar that big, that small. Yeah, it's certainly getting a bit, I'd say, maybe that push down, a little bit of size, maybe another one. It's hard to say, really, isn't it? I'm just guessing. 2 clear legs down. 2 attempts to fade. And about that leg and that leg. So we've got 1 leg down, bit of side with another leg down. Push up. 1 leg down. Another leg down. Does look like we're trying to get a look at go down, doesn't it? It's certainly not going up strongly like you would expect it to if you obviously look at that. Right click the range by measurement. Yeah, well, it's not right click. You're on about for that. That's what did you say? I learned something new today. Right click on the range and select show measured move. Nice tip. Right click on the range, show measured move. Click on the range. Say that again. Right click on the range and select show measured moves. I'll have to look at that. Futures trader, when you get a chance, read my earlier comments. I will. And you can call me Lance. That's my name. You can call me Lance. That's a bit of a mouthful. Lance is my name anyway. You should really install a time sync tool. Time sync. Right, you're going to have to help me out there, bud. You on about for this lag, yeah? Or something else. You must select a range first. Okay, select the range, right click, show measured moves. It's put that bar in it, isn't it? Yeah? How do I get rid of it? Oh no, how do I get rid of it? Show measured moves. It's called Atomic I use. Does it? Are you on about to zero out the lag? Is that what you mean? Atomic. What do you mean? Matt uses as a lot. Oh, yeah, that he does. You're on about the right clicking in the range. I don't quite understand what it's done. It's just give me this, isn't it? It's just put that there, isn't it? I recognise that. How do you say that? You need to make up a proper name. CZR1. How you doing? Right. You messaged me, didn't you? You messaged me, or you put a message on yesterday, didn't you? I'm still sick of Mr. Markets much. Been out all week. You messaged me yesterday, didn't you? I'm sure it was you. You give me a nice message. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I've been rough, mate. I felt ill for a while now, but the last sort of week, it's just, I don't feel terrible. It's just I got this tickly cough which just keeps blurting out, and just sinuses, which is making me sound probably a lot more manly than I really am. Right, hold on a minute. It's set one up there, isn't it? Measured move. I don't quite understand what that's doing exactly. So measured move up on the range. You want it gone, right click on the range again. You're going to highlight it again, have you? Okay. What does it show me exactly? Measured move. I'll have to play around with that because I don't fully understand what it's giving me, because it put a line up here and a line down here. Lick. You want me to lick the range now, Chad? I'm not licking anything. The range, you like going to adjust it. And then click it. Oh, I got you. I got you. Would you go for one contract till you build? On the PA, absolutely, yeah. I'm not trading the PA today, and the reason being is the $2,000 that's into my deal account is saying pending. I think they pay it today or tomorrow. Now, You add that $2,000 to my PA, that's a total of $3,200. Now, as long as the amount's over $2,600, you can withdraw. So the withdrawal's fine. If I drop that down and something goes wrong with that, it may take me below the $2,600 and they may say, we're not paying you. So at the moment, the payment will go through, that's fine. And then, yes, I will bring that down to one. I usually trade 2 contracts on this when I've got a $2,500 drawdown. But I will, that's a fraction under, it's $50 under 50% to the 2,000 drawdown, so I will take that down to 1 contract. So come, I believe Monday, am I right in saying there's no trading Mondays? There's some form of a holiday or something, isn't there? Or is it shortened day, which is why I'm going to set up a new stream for Tuesday. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of holiday on Monday, so looking for it to explode higher. You know, often when we have a strong push, we'll do sideways and we'll come down a bit and then it sort of corrects and then boom. So the only bit is, it's just after this bit, whether we'll come right up and make all this back or whether we'll go higher and catch up with yesterday's highs, hard to say. I don't use it, but the measured move is the range size. Oh, okay, I got you. I'll have to play around with that. Yeah, it's surprising. You're forever learning little bits of tricks. Yeah, it is. It's giving that impression it's coming down, doesn't it? But I'm thinking sort of long at the moment as well. Down, up, down. It's hard to say. I wouldn't bet money on it just yet, but it is still flitting around the bottom of this range. In fact, this could probably come down a fraction. 2. In fact, that touches in 3 places. 1, 2, 3. Close on the bar. That's probably. No, it's more here now, isn't it? We'll go with that. Okay. So it looks like we've clearly had that measured leg. See what happens here now. But that's not a place I really want to go long. Because it is sort of... I think it's likely that it may do, but I just don't like the way we're dipping down and the EMA's pointing down, especially after that big bar. I think if it breaks below here, we may get a big drop. I'm gonna call it today. Have a good, have a good one, Keith. Have a good weekend, mate. Have a whiskey later. Put your feet up. Yeah, have a good, mate. I'll be back in on Tuesday. I'm pretty sure Monday is there's a holiday of some sort. I'll look into that later. I'm pretty sure Monday is, but let's have a look. Does Max say that sometimes when you break a range, it will make a measured move equal in width to the range? Yeah, he does. Width to the range. So if you make him read that again. Chart was better on him, yes. Have a great holiday, everyone. Oh, you done, are you? Yeah, take it easy, Toad. Have a good weekend. And MLK Day. Is that the market shut down all day, or is it shortened, or is it on this holiday? Yeah, I think it is as good, isn't it? I might work the Monday actually. Keep that money coming in. Sorry, half day. Yeah. I might leave it actually. I might. I've put myself up for work. Draw a small range on the micro congestion. This bit here. What do you mean? You mean something like that, yeah? Oh, you're about equal to the width. So if we, okay, so if we push down, equal to the width, or will pull back in equal to width. Is that what you mean? Something like that. Measured move. Yeah, I thought that, but I counted that one as a measured move, but maybe it's not. Maybe there is another measured move here. Maybe. It's just trying to push back in, isn't it? I think. Let's remove that a minute. New York is close. Yeah. Maybe not so tight. Is that what you mean, yeah? No? Is that a bit too much? Let me read what you said again. If you draw a small just see profit taken around there. There was something else you said, wasn't there? I'll read these comments back later, bud. Draw a small range on the micro congestion. We just came out of it. You will see profit taken around here. Measured move. It's probably a bit too premature, but maybe not. This can probably come down a bit, can't it? Let's have a look. Okay, that kind of fits nice there, doesn't it? Yeah, that looks okay. Okay, so we had these two pushes down, didn't we? Bit of sideways again. Just caught 5 points from the bottom, yeah? Got a bit in it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose before that, I mean, I've adjusted that down now, but before it was up here, so you say that's a failed breakout. So, yeah, it's certainly sideways choppy. It's certainly a little bit easier to read, though, isn't it? Because some days you get just chop where it just, I don't know, there seems to be no pattern to it. At least this has got a bit of a pattern. This is not terrible, is it? It's a bit choppy up here, isn't it? But then it's sort of push down, push up, push down. A little bit of sign was a little bit clearer. I'd say now we could probably extend that to about there. Touch, 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 touch. Body close, body close. Yeah, that looks okay, yeah. That was Jacko, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Triple test there, there, and there. Yeah, that was okay, that wasn't it? New high, first entry, yeah, second entry long, that was. Yeah, it was okay, that at the bottom, yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Especially now I've drawn this wider range. Yeah, that was a good trade, that. Missed that one. Would I have taken that one? Possibly, yeah. This was seemed to be coming down there, but it just didn't do enough, didn't materialise, did it? Let's see how we turned up from the measured move off that micro congestion. And about here or before I redrew it. Micro congestion. If you right click that congestion and click measured move. Okay, so I'm clicking there, am I? Show measured move. Is that what you mean? Okay, so I'm just trying to work out how I read this then. You might have to help me again a bit there, bud. In fact, what I might do later is I'll YouTube this. So it's called Show Measured Moves. Show Midline, Show Measured Move. Yeah, surprising. You never stop learning. I'm using NinjaTrader now for 1.5 years, and you never stop learning, do you? There's always something that pops up and you come across. I'm starting to consider a down channel. Yeah, see, I thought that earlier with the dip. And it's still struggling a bit, but it's just the way we came down here and we quite strongly pushed back in, so it's just hard to say at the moment, isn't it? Yeah, it's just not very clear really, isn't it? We've a little push up, push down, push up, strong push down, break, a little bit of sideways, a couple of pushes up, a little bit of sideways, a bit of dropping down to the bottom section of the range. It's hard to say. I wouldn't like to guess whether it was going to go up or nothing is clear to me. It's certainly losing momentum, but sometimes when you get that push up, it'll do that, won't it? And then it'll just rocket off in that direction again, the opposite direction where it came in. Yeah, right now it's expanded a bit, got you. Before it was right from here, the measured moves are secret source to Pat. How did you find out about then? I haven't been. I did my year with Mac, and then finished last June. But I signed up again yesterday, so I'm gonna have to. I only had a little bit of time last night just to pop round there, but pop in and have a look. But I need to go over range day. I'm going to go over the whole thing. I tend to just go right to the very basic one and watch them all again. Certainly looks like it's losing momentum. The EMA is pointing down, isn't it? We had a little bit of a pull up and it's pointing down again. So I don't know. Is there anything there obvious yet? Is there? Maybe there is. That actually looks not too bad. That probably put there. Okay, that fits. Actually, that fits very nice. Oh, that fits very, very nice. Okay, tell a lie then. That does look like a downtrend, doesn't it? I'll try and pull it down to here, but I can't. But look at the bottoms. Perfect, 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 perfect. Yeah, that looks okay. That does. It's probably gonna. Yeah. Push up. Now, we had that overshoot, didn't we? The overshoot in a lot of cases can turn into a, so we push down, push up, push down, and then we seem to start coming down. So yeah, overshoots can sometimes lead. Look at that. It's like the top of an house, isn't it? Yeah, overshoots can sometimes turn into reversals, and it did, didn't it? Pushed up there, came back, pushed up, pushed up, pushed up, started to work down. Got a pattern, that isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Now there's the front door. Roof, front door. So you can always doodle a bit, couldn't you? Roof, although a little bit wonky. Looks like some bad builders have had a go at it, but yeah, sometimes overshoots can turn into a reversal, and that sort of seems like what we've got there, doesn't it? Having said that, it is all within that range, but it certainly looks the part, doesn't it? Top here, touch, perfect, touch, perfect, touch. That makes sense, doesn't it? EMA's pointing down, a little bit of a lip up when we had this push up, down again. There could be a possible measured leg here. That might give us an indication when we're going to pull down again. So pop that to there. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, that's better. Okay, that does look like it probably looks a bit messy because of that. Okay. Yeah, it fits nice at the bottom, doesn't it? It fits pretty good at the top. Excuse me. Talks about measured move a bit in his manual and pretty content. Yeah, I've got the manual right by my bed. It's covered in dust at the moment. I'm going to have to dig it out again. I slowly make my way through the whole catalogue. Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. I think it's important to go back to basics, isn't it? So yeah, we've got to push up here, pull back, push up. See if we can get up here and then work ourselves down again. Still got that thing on there, haven't I? Let's remove that because it's not telling me much at the moment. I'll have to look into that. We could retest 3. Where have you been hiding, bud? Where have you been hiding? We could retest 3983. 3983 down here. We certainly seem to be working our way down anyway. It's not the cleanest downtrend I've seen, but it's sort of a downtrend nonetheless, isn't it? Not sure though. We could do this if this comes down. Not sure though. You've not got much confidence, have you? Got trade copy then. Seems to, mate. Seems to be. It's working anyway. I think I just made that. To be honest with you, from what I can see of it now, it's not that very complicated, is it? It's pretty straightforward. I've clearly left that here because somebody showed me a little trick there to click those accounts just to see if an order was still present, and it wasn't on the PA, so that gave me the confidence. But yeah, they seem worked up nicely. The only thing I forgot to do was click the positions just in case, but everything closed there fine. So I think the problems are few and far between. I don't think they happen often. But obviously you need to be aware of them if they do. Now, that guy that withdrew $800,000 last week, he's got 20 contracts, $300,000 contracts. So he's obviously that confident. If he's, having this 800,000 or whatever, he's had $1 million this year or something, I don't know. But he's obviously making a ton of money. Now, if you're making that sort of money, you're not going to invest and use this trade copy if you didn't have any confidence and belief in it. So call it a day, Lance. Around 4. Are you around 400 down? Are you? Oh, bad luck, mate. Oh, bad luck. I've done all right today for a change. Certainly for bad luck, mate. Yeah, sensible thing to do then. $400. Yeah. That's the next level of skill I've got to muster. Okay, now I'm tempted. That is a second entry short. I'm tempted to go short here. In fact, I'm going to go short because it's right off the key entry point. We've had 2 clear legs up. Finish is probably going to dive down, isn't it? It's not going to give me a chance, is it? See if it finishes bearish. I like that. It's a second entry short. Right off the key entry point. We've had 2 clear pushes up. I don't think it's going to come down, is it? No, it doesn't look like it. No, okay, maybe we look for a lower high. Okay, I thought that was going to be a winner there. We've had 1 push up, 2 push ups. Sort of kind of a measured leg there, quite a nice measured leg. Right at that top of the key entry point. It's clear respect in these. Every time we've gone up, we've shot down. We've gone up, we've shot down. Probably is going to come down, but frustrating thing when it comes down and pushes up, it just can't really take that, can you? But often it still just comes down, so that's the frustrating thing. No entry. Yeah, well, you've got a skill that I seem to be missing, mate. Yeah, so good on you, Sam. That's the key, isn't it? If you can just stop at the right time, I mean, we can clearly got the skills to be able to make money. We're just missing, or I'm just missing the skills to put into place when I lose money. And I think the trick is never lose more than you can make back in a day. If I make a loss today, as long as I can make it back tomorrow, or potentially make it back tomorrow, I think that's a reasonable an amount to lose in one session. Yeah, see, look, I think it's almost, look here, it's almost definitely coming down, I think, isn't it? 2 clear pushes up. Let's see if we can get a push below there and maybe a lower high. Trouble is, when that pushes up, it just takes your confidence out of the trade, really. And there's no setup then when that's happened, although it often just comes down anyway because it is what it is. Very wise not to take that in guard. Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not that fully familiar with engulfing bars, and when I've mentioned taking an engulfing bar before, I'm assuming an engulfing bar is obviously when you're sort of trapped in a way and you click below, and if it triggers below, it clicks their stops anyway. But so that's finished really, but there's no trade there. I can't do that. It hasn't taken above there, although it's likely to come down. But yeah, so I tend to stay away from those. So I wouldn't have taken that until it closed, to be honest with you. See if we can get a lower high. I don't know if Mac talks about engulfing bars much, does he? I'll have to... nice 2 legs tempting. Yeah, it's just because of that. If it was that, then I'd have jumped into there. But let's see if we can get a lower high. You could get trapped here. That's the problem. And just in fact, if that does finish bullish and ticks above, then you could take that then on the engulfing, couldn't you? Because if it ticks above, it's triggered any possible longs that are going to be there, and then when it triggers below, I'm assuming that's where the engulfing bar in, it takes their stops out, which then gives it a little bit more momentum. It's better to wait. Yeah, I think for the majority I do. I took one the other day and it went wrong, so yeah, I won't do it again. And I did take one about a week and a half ago, which I dropped for some reason. I dropped in there and it triggered exactly like that one did and moved up. So I don't quite know how I managed to drop it, but he's talking about engulfing bar on yesterday. Yeah, he doesn't have a training bit on it though, does he? He doesn't have a video to. I think he needs to update some of his videos and just add a few things. I think he could talk about extending extending ranges and extending trend channels. I think he needs to do a section on that. See if this finishes bearish. See, to be honest with you, it's until it ticks above there, it's still not a second entry short. First entry. Yeah, I don't know. I've got to get back to just taking those obvious ones, and although that certainly looks like it's coming down, it hasn't ticked above for me to take it as a second entry short. Already getting congested, yeah. Did I watch yesterday's? I can't remember. I don't know I did yet. I might have done. Because in the UK, he tends to put them in around about midnight, 12:30, the hours of the morning. And sometimes if I can't sleep, I'll get up and jump on the computer and watch it. I quite often do that. I just wish he'd explain things a little bit more. I think this, yeah. I want it to either be trap, yeah. I think, for instance, if let's say that one was a second entry long, yeah, and you'd have traders there long, so that's ticked above, yeah. So they're going to get taken out their trades through their stop below here. So if you put your order here, if that drops down and triggers below, that's an engulfing bar, isn't it? Because you're trapping traders to the long side if you're going short with that one. So I'm pretty sure that's it, isn't it? I don't play around with it too much. Next volatile day will be Wednesday. That might be a good lesson for me, just to sit and watch. Sometimes it's a good just to sit and watch, have a cup of tea, have a chat, and just maybe, maybe try and predict what you think's going to happen rather than drop orders in. That's a second entry short. It's just broke a little bit higher than that, which I don't know. It would make me a bit nervous going short there anyway. Something we've had this push up. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's going to come down anyway. It may come out. Kind of hope it doesn't finish bearish. In fact, I'm going to leave it whatever happens. Yeah, something I don't like about it. The idea of engulfing. It's trap the opposite trader. Yeah. And right off yeah, that's what I meant with that one. Let's say that was a second entry long, yeah. That one ticked above it triggered. If I was going short here, that one ticked above it triggered. Then I can put my order there, can't I? Because that's where their stops are. So if that comes down and breaks below there and hits my order, the premise then that continues down because you're riding down off the stops of those longs. That's my understanding. I think it's right, but I tend to not do it as much. I'll take traps. I'll take traps. In fact, that is a trap, really, isn't it? If you're putting an order down here, that is a trap, isn't it? Yeah. Sometimes if there's a long trap here, sometimes I'll put my order below it. In fact, that is an engulfing bar, isn't it? Yeah. I've just true range. Those wider trend channels aren't valid. Yeah, they sort of look like they fit, don't they? But you can have trend channels within ranges, though, can't you? And in fact, what that may be, no. It sort of does fit. It's hitting the tops and the bottoms nice as well. In fact, I done that wrong now, haven't I? So yeah, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I mean, it's certainly ranging to a degree, isn't it? But it is respecting these tops, and the bottoms. That one, those few. So it's sort of working, isn't it? But you can still have trend channels within ranges. I mean, the whole day's a range really so far, isn't it? But we still got these these. Excuse me a minute, I have a cough. Yeah, you can still have range trend channels within ranges. This sort of, though it's messy, it's certainly holding in 3 places, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's pushing out here, isn't it? But yeah, it's definitely a down in a fashion, isn't it? Let's get into this here. Okay, push up, break. All right. Yeah, it does look like it is going to confirm, doesn't it? I think. Brand, isn't it? Yeah. You can sometimes need to be careful. The channels are not too broad when you're in a range. I got you. But this bare channel has sufficient confirmation enough to. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And I suppose it's useful because if we do break out, it certainly fits, doesn't it? Yeah, touch. Although we bounced and made a breakout, so that would make sense, wouldn't it? Most breakouts fail. Trouble is, it is a channel within a range. So do I want to fade the breakout? I feel more comfortable about fading the breakout, but it may be, you may call that a triple test. Touched. If it goes right up to here and I get something bearish, as we've had the push up and a break, and if we get something here and it sits nice, as we've already had that short-term trend channel, we've had a break back to the EMA and a push higher, then I may consider going short there. I just want to be extra careful. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's see if there's a measured leg there. That might help my decision-making process. Okay. Okay, so if it goes up here, we'll see. We'll see. You're done, are you, Valentino? Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming and having a chat. Starting to get to know people a little bit better, aren't we? Does make trading a lot more interesting, doesn't it? To have a bit of a chit chat, bit of a chin wag, a little bit of banter. Yeah, beats sitting in a room on your own, doesn't it? I think if this came back now and went incredibly bearish, that might be a place to go short. We clearly had a push up, so you could say this is a break of a channel. Let's have a look at this. You could say this is a triple test, couldn't you? And it sort of is. It's not a massive bar, is it? See how it finishes. Because I would definitely say that's a channel. A channel within a range. Okay, that's fine. We've had a breakout, 2 legs up, breakout. If this ends up really bearish, you could say it's a triple test as well. That's just another way of confirming it. And I think it's worth riding back into the, and get some points out of it. Something like that. I think it's okay to go short there. No, you're saying no, are you? Okay. All right. I can do that. I can live with that. Let's see how it finishes first. Doesn't look like it's going to finish bearish anyway. I wouldn't have taken it anyway, that. Yeah, okay. So we've had a break. We've had a push up and a break. New high. Measured leg. It's had a measured leg. Yeah, I got you. So if that was a good entry to go long, then you could put your order down there and call that an engulfing, couldn't you? But I'd certainly say after we've had a short-term trend channel, we've had a break and a new high, I'd expect it to come down, and especially if you think this trend channel is, yeah, so I don't think that's a bad trade going short there. If that does finish bearish, I don't think it's a bad trade. But it is sort of picking a top in a sense, isn't it? But I'm happy to leave it alone, to be honest with you. In fact, I probably should be leaving it alone. So yeah, I'm going to leave it alone. But it could come back to the top here. So the trouble is, we've clearly got a bit of a channel. We've had a short-term trend channel, we've had a break and a new high. We've seen out a measured move, but I think it's important to remember we are technically still in a range as well, so it could come up to the top of the range. So I could go short here, it might trigger below, come up here, and then drop back in, but it's not going to finish bearish anyway, so I'm happy to leave it alone. Does not meet any rules. It's not a triple. No, the reason I said triple test is if it finished the same place here, here, and here. You wouldn't call, you wouldn't call that a triple test, no? What are you saying? It would have been a... Well, we've pushed up here and it's rejected. We pushed up here and it's rejected. We pushed up here. If it finished bearish with the push above and the bar down here, then would that not be a triple test? They're going to be closer, have they? Oh, okay. Two legs out of congestion at the lows, the bullish channel, and a break and a move to a new extreme. Okay. It is a big range. You are tripping. Who, me? Close there. Are you two arguing amongst yourselves? Matt would say that's a triple test. Yeah, so the simple answer is I don't know enough about them, although I hear the term, but I've not paid much attention, so that's a little bit above my skill level at the moment. So leave it alone. It's the easiest thing. If I'm not sure, keep going on. Yeah. Yeah, I've had this sort of thing in the past. If I'm not sure what's going, and not you argue amongst yourselves. If I'm not sure what he's doing, I think the sensible thing is to leave it alone, yeah. And at the moment, where that is, picking a top would be a risky thing for me. I don't have much luck with picking tops, so it makes sense too. These are bread and butter trades. Stick with them. You know, if I go home today with £875 in the pot, I'll be happy as punch. I'm only staying here because I did them relatively quick. I'm quite comfortable. I'm building my confidence up, and I'm quite happy just to sit and watch the market. No trigger anyway. I'm quite happy sitting and watching things. You learn just sitting and watching. You don't have to be physically taking trades, do you? I'm just pleased the trade copy has worked. Triple test is the candle at 1651. 1651. What about here? 1651. That's 1651. Where's the we got a ray here somewhere, haven't we? Is it that one? Vertical line. Oh. Let's make that a bit dark. 1651, you say? Okay. So you're talking that one there, yeah? 1, 2, 3. See, that's what I was unsure about a triple test. Did they have to finish it the same, or did the bodies have to close? So we try and push once, try and push twice. Yeah, it's still not clear to me. I thought the bodies had to finish. It's just something I'm going to have to look into, isn't it? Yeah. Do you enjoy having a bit of a chin wag? Is that addressed to me? Is the Pope Catholic? You enjoy having a bit? I certainly do enjoy having a bit of a chin wag. Trust me, when you're sitting, well, you should know this, when you sit in a room by yourself for half the day, it's a lonely old place, isn't it? I talk to the dog sometimes, I talk to myself sometimes, but since I've started streaming, I've got you lot to bore. But my argument is, you've got a volume button. You can turn me down if you want. You're looking through some Pat's video right now. I'm going to have to go through them all again. In fact, I will over the weekend. See if I can find a wider triple testimony. Yeah. I wish you'd do a video on widening trend channels. So at what point do you widen? Do you wait for it to break? So if I had my channel here, you wait for it to break, make a new high. Yeah. That's played out. If it then comes back to it again, pushes higher still, then I believe then you extend it to the next one. I wish you'd do something about that, because it stops you then. The trouble is, I had this issue the other day. I kept looking to go long, and in the end, me and a load of others went to go long, and the market tanked because it had always previously had a break. So I wish he'd do a. In fact, I might message him and see if he'll. Maybe in one of his videos at the end of the day, he might mention widening trend channels. At what point do you widen the trend channel? Oh, you enjoy it? Okay, that's all good then. Hey, Jimmy, how you doing? I am keeping well. Do I sound positive? I probably sound, but I got to say, when I took that $2,300 loss, I was listening to my voice on the stream, and I did proper sound like I was having a bit of a meltdown. You can always tell how I feel or how calm I am by my voice. I start almost stuttering, making weird noises. Yeah, how you doing, buddy? Someone else here. So you're Kent, aren't you? There was someone else here from London earlier. Who was it? I can't remember now. Another one from the Big Smoke. If you want 98% hit rate, you just take high prop. Yeah, I believe it is 98%. Which really, how many strategies have a 98% hit rate? That's bloody good. That's brilliant. That is. We're just taking trades that look good and going in for larger rewards, and you will be okay. Yeah. And in all possibility, that's a hidden second entry long, in my opinion. That was okay. I'd say that was maybe a 90% trade, maybe a bit more. It's off the key entry point. It's clearly going, but that one, the higher low, I think was even better. A higher low and a clear second entry. So I was in that trade, and when that one came up, I took a second trade, which I think was, in this sense, was an okay thing to do, because that was a good trade in itself, and that confirmed that. So I think it was win-win, and obviously I got out, I don't know, up here somewhere. Yeah, I got out about here, which I was quite happy with, to be fair, because this was at a slightly different angle, so I think that was okay. But yeah, I class those as high probability trades. I think Mac will probably mention those, as long as his finish the same as mine. Yeah, it's a good job there wasn't a short there, is it? So we'll just short the top of this now. So this is where I falter. I remember watching a video of Max saying he loves range days because all he does is short the top and buys the bottom. Trouble is, range days lately seem to stop in different places, don't they? So if Max saying short the tops, if that ends up bearish, he would short there. So I'm telling to try and stay away from these at the moment. Listen, take a triple test when they occur with other setups. Shorts are going to long fairly as high probability. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch Mac a little bit more on about find out where he does these triple tests. I do see him sometimes, but I don't. I probably need to pay a little bit more attention because these are little gaps in my trading that I need to iron out, because all these little triple tests just add more options, don't they, and more sort of extra strings to your bow, if you like. Doesn't look like a range day to me. Well, it sort of is, but it isn't. Down, up, a little bit sideways, down. Yeah, I mean, we've clearly got, I think it is classed as a range day. Range days can be like this. You can get trends, but it's not in a clear. We've had this push down, and then we've sort of pushed up and back down a little bit. So I think Matt would class this as a range day. Although we have had trends, and we can have trends within ranges. We've had a stronger push up here, a little bit less push up. We've had an overshoot here, causing a bit of a reversal, but we're still in an overall for the day. But I don't know. I just at the moment, I'm not confident about going short there. When I take these pick tops, they just don't seem to work well for me. So until I understand a little bit more about them and focus a little bit more on that section of my trading, then I'm just going to leave these areas alone. Yeah, big down, big up. Range day to me. Yeah, I think Matt would classify that as a range day. I mean, if you see a trend day, they're quite different, aren't they? So we've come up here, we've dropped down to the bottom, we've a little bit of sideways, we're sort of working our way back to the top. I mean, you may even bring this sort of down here, this area down here. You know, we've had a little bit of a breakout there, but it's certainly been more rangy than. I think the overall's certainly rangy. How valid this is, it sort of is and it isn't. It's not perfect, but sort of up, overshoot down. So, but just having that there just gives us a little bit more of a picture that it could be just going up and then it could be coming down, but it also could be doing it sideways as well, which is sort of done as well. So it just covers your arse a bit, as in that, doesn't it? And saying, well, okay, we can't just think down because, we may be stopping at the bottom here, and which we sort of have. We are still in an uptrend channel. Yeah, we sort of are, but then we've gone a little bit down a bit as well, and a little bit stagnant. This could just be a bit of a breakout. We may come back down, so... Yeah, the upward bias has been since the market opened. But we got to take into consideration we had that big push down as well. So I'd say Mac would classify that as a range day, or with some decent sized swings. Look at the algos, mate. Profit targets you go for out of curiosity. I have mine set. I have mine set. Now I noticed I usually go for 1-to-1. I like 1-to-1 because I like the fact that a losing trade could be rectified with a winning trade. So I was angling. If you look at the ATR at the moment, it's about 2.5. So a tick above, tick below is about 3 points. Sometimes it's a bit higher. So I tend to like 3.5 points. But I've noticed Taylor, who I watch a lot from Top Pick Tradings, goes for 4 points, which is 16 ticks. I added an extra tick just to cover the commissions. Now, what I'll do if I go long here, if I think there's room up, I don't leave my 4 tick profit. I'll drag it up. And what I'll do is when the market gets up to around about the 3.5 to 4 ticks, I'll drop my stop in there. If it hits it, I've got more or less what I wanted. But in this case, it pushed up a little bit higher, and then I'll just keep topping my stop up to get as much as I can. And it works. I've got more money doing it that way than I have keeping a fixed 3.5 or 4 points. So I'll wait for it to push up. I'll just drop my stop in when it shows me around about 3.5 points, and then if it goes up a bit more, great. I'll follow it with my stop. If it hits it, then I've got what I want anyway. But the downside about having a fixed one is it could continue to go up. So it swings and roundabouts really, but it does. I do seem to do better at it. You know, I've had a few days where I've had about 4 days out of the lot where I got 10 points. I got an 8 points. I've got, you know, quite a few 6. So I seem to do a bit better. So it works for me. So if it works, okay, I tend to not, you know, if it's not broken, I don't fix it. But my theory is 1-to-1. I think 1-to-1s, if you look at both these trades, they're both clearly got 1-to-1. Look back on your charts or look on Mac's charts and just look where he put his trades and then just work out how much they've got. And that will help you make your decision on whether you should trade, you know, 1 point, 2 points or a little bit more. I think 1 point, the amount of way the market moves now, I think 1 point is a bit harsh, I think, especially for an experienced trader. You get 4 or 5 winning trades, that can be wiped out by one trade. That's heartbreaking. And, you know, to even sort of scalping to get up to the 80-90% rate, you know, area, you've got to be a pretty good trader. And even then, if you're on 80%, you can get, you know, with one. I think where the experienced trader comes in, and it might be like Mac, where he sticks to his 1 point, is when you're trading a lot more contracts and you can afford to use a runner as well. So then you could say your 1 point just gives you know, a little lump sum, and then you make more with your runners. But I think Mac tends to swing trade his quite a bit, his runners, and I think that's how he makes his money up. I don't know, markets are constantly changing and, you know, new techniques and developing. But I wouldn't say going from 2 points to 4 points has a massive difference in my win rate. Because good trades will move, because, you know, we come back to the EMA, and when we get these good signal areas, see this push straight up. I mean, this was in news, but we had this big bullish pin bar, then it shot right up. Same again, nice bullish candle, back to the EMA, push right up. This one, push right up. So the good trades will move. And I think in most cases, you'll get what you want there. Either of those trades, you'd have got plenty. 80%. But I am profitable. I've not traded long yet. I'm not sure what my percentage rate is. I'm going to have to start. I am going to start journaling at the end of the day, like Wilson does. He puts a little box on here, the trades. I think it's important to. I do look at my trades and figure out where they went wrong, but I also save my chart at the end of the day. So I think it's going to be useful just to put a box on here and just to write, you know, the trade was this, the trade was that, you know. So I'm going to start doing that, I think. See if we can get a failure down here. So we're going to push up here a new high. Try on once. Push down. If we can get below the EMA and then maybe have a... But there again, that could just be 2 legs down and it may go higher. It's hard to say at the moment. So if you believe this trend channel, we've had a breakout, 2 pushes up, and then maybe back into here. But we are in a sort of a range as well. So that makes the... Still having trouble keeping my stop loss tight. I had a lot of problems with that. Stop loss really should always go, if that's your signal bar, it should always go 1 tick. Now sometimes I'll put it an extra tick, and that has saved me from losing a trade more times than I can care to imagine. So I think for the extra $25 it's worth it, but it depends. But I like that 1 extra tick. Because I remember hearing Max say it should be at least 1 tick, but he just uses 1 tick. But I did a trade last week. I ended up getting $600 out of it. I had it 1 extra tick, and it came up to exactly the same height. It ticked, because a lot of times when you'll go short there, if it's a trap or whatever, sometimes it'll go up and it'll tick 1 tick above, and then come down in the same way you was expecting it to, so I tend to give it that one extra tick. Now, if you think you don't lose a lot of trades anyway, so that extra tick, if you do lose, doesn't cause a massive amount of loss, but I think the odd one that you make more than covers for that, so that's just a personal thing I do. I don't know whether it's a right or wrong thing to do, but it does seem to work. It got me out of a trade last week. As I say, I got $600, and if I'd have lost the trade, I'd have lost an extra $25, so I've got to do that quite a few times. Let's see if we can get a failure here. But it is 2 pushes down, so if this is a trend channel, then you'd expect it with that break, 2 pushes up, to come back down into it. Okay, just running this through this bar, you see what you think. If this is a range, we've come up to the top and we've pushed it down, you expect it to come down towards the bottoms. Either way, whether it's a channel, a break, pushing back in, or a range, and we're pulling from tops to bottoms, I would think about going short here. If I can get it's going to be a failure now. But it is 2 pushes down, and if this ends up bullish, it could be a potential long if you think the market's going up. So there's so many different variables. In fact, this might be a good place to go short because that's a second entry long. If that ended up bullish and it triggered above it and triggered below it, I'd say there's probably likely going to be some long, because there's been a few people here said they think maybe bullish. So yeah, maybe if this ends up bullish and ticks above it, it may go up. But the good thing about putting your order below is if it is bullish and there's some longs there, which is probably going to be there, it's going to trap them, and that might then give you momentum. But see how that finishes. No. Doesn't look like it's going to sit anyway. It could just be 2 pushes down, couldn't it? Let's have a look at the bigger picture. Yeah, I know we've had this channel up and channel down, but the way it's operating from the bottom to the top there, so have a look. See if we get a break above this. But we have sort of had a measured leg there, haven't we? That doesn't mean it can't come down. What time is it? Okay, I'm going to finish shortly, I think. We're on 3¼ hours. Yeah. See, if it's a range, I'd expect it to come from the top to the bottoms. If it's the channel, we've had a breakout, I'd expect it to come back in. So either way, I'm expecting it to come down. And unless I've missed anything, But what I don't want to do is take a stupid risky trade now. For 1 point risk management, taking an average of 1.5 trades. I can't trade like long term. No, I've done that as well. I've done all sorts of stuff. You'd be amazed what I've done. In fact, I've probably done all the same sort of things. Yeah, in fact, I think I'm going to leave it there, guys, actually. That to me is a good solid day. Let's see what happens here. So we've had 2 pushes up. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there anyways. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there, guys, actually. So, it's Friday now, so Tuesday is the next guy, is the next day, so the next trading day, so I'll be here Tuesday. So, look, if you shut up shop now, you're going to have a nice piece. Oh, yeah, it's exactly what I'm thinking, Sam. Yeah, put you on the table. Yeah, that's a good day, to be fair. That is an above average day for me. 2 nice trades, straightforward trades. So I'm happy, yeah. So what a great place to finish for the weekend. Yeah. Cheers, Sam. You're sick in bed. Oh, stop moaning. What's the matter with you? You sound like my wife. Right. Yeah, I know. I've got to say, though, depending on what job you're doing, it's a lot easier to trade when you're ill than it is to go out, in the cold or whatever and do whatever job you do. So I've got to say, I can trade ill, but if I'm, I don't want to go out, I turn into a big baby, then I want to stay at home. But so look, yeah, okay. So we're back now anyway. We're doing well. It's a nice start to the day. It's been a lot more straightforward today, a little bit of choppy, but that was nice and pretty clear. So it's not been a bad day today. So, well, it's been a good day, actually. Certainly for me. I hope you guys have had a good day as well. I hope you've got some money in your pockets or in your account. So look, have a great weekend, everybody. I appreciate you hooking up with me and having a nice chat as well. I hope I haven't bored you, but if I have, it's your own fault. You got a volume switch, so you can switch me off. So have a great weekend, and I will see you here on Tuesday. Raring to go, and hopefully moving forward. I'm going to do a bit of study over the weekend. So I'll see all you guys on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll talk on Tuesday.